Going live. We're live.
Welcome to Plat Chat VALORANT episode 219. I'm joined by Achilles, TMV, Wyatt makes a grand return, and we're here to discuss the juicy, dark details that Seangares has dropped. Plus, we'll do our own power ranking for Masters Toronto too. How's everybody been? Well, I feel like we're getting through. Masters Toronto is on the horizon. There is some light at the end of this off-season tunnel.
Yeah, I've been trying my best to actually enjoy the fact that we have time off now, which is pretty sick, I'm gonna be honest. But that has resulted in me casting challengers, and now all of the games not mattering potentially, because all the teams are throwing, so what an off-season. What a relaxing, fun time.
Does that help your sense of purpose in life, Wyatt, to know that sometimes you've just been watching people perform a script?
Oh, believe me, I suspected it with some of the games, some of the game quality I had to cast. I was like, I wonder. But no,
like
just
being paid to watch a crappy movie. Like you're being paid money to go see like the latest Adam Sandler garbage.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, in a way. But I have to participate.
Yeah,
in
but
the
then
movie.
he has to talk
It's like
over
being
it,
an
yeah.
actor. Yeah, it's like I actually act in the movie.
All right.
Yes. But I feel you on the comparison. Pretty close.
Let's talk. If you're a member, then you got early access to our Plat Chat Toronto live show tickets. They've all sold out at this point, but if you are one of the people that was looking to bag a ticket, some of them might still be cancelled. So if you have a look on that website occasionally, if somebody changes their plans of going to Toronto or whatever happens, then you might be able to pick up a ticket from somebody who cancels. If you're also a member, you can ask us questions every week. And this week, the member question was, if every single agent that had ever been nerfed in Valorant was reverted back to their prime form, so ridiculous Viper, ridiculous Chamber, ridiculous Astra, all of that kind of stuff, ridiculous Taeho, Neon, what would the meta look like and which players would be valued more than in the current scene?
Which players would be value?
I gave this some thought, and I think the duelist meta would be fucking insane. You'd have double nade raise.
Who cares? We had a bet on some crypto platform as to who was going to throw out the first swear word, and
I made
it was TMV
$100,000.
Yeah, anyone who had TMV, they're swimming in it.
They are raking it in. Go on, TMV. What do you?
But the duelist meta, raise 2 nades, insane damage on all the abilities, right? You've got Neon double slide going crazy. You got Jet 7 or 8 second smokes, or whatever it was, 3 of them.
Yeah.
Instant dash, like double updraft, like the duelist meta would 6 cost knives as well that recharge with right click. Like the duelist meta would be absolutely insane. I would assume because of that, you would probably get like a lot of Sky, Viper Astro, or Viper Omen with like double duelist sending it, and maybe Chamber on some maps as well.
I mean, I can just swear now, right? It's all over. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's all over.
Release Astra was fucked. I mean, it was so broken. I feel like Astra would be a must pick on most maps, especially if you're running busted Rays. You get that broken synergy between the two. Surely, no?
Yeah, well, I mean, what other smokes agent would you use?
Imagine post plants with old Viper, 2 snake bites, Astra suck, Teo. Imagine, like, you literally cannot win a retake. Like, you can't.
Satchels that do what? How much damage did the satchels do? Was it 75?
It was a lot of damage. And do you remember they one-shot Sage Walls and Killjoy lockdowns as well? They did like times 1,000 damage to objects. There really have been some bonkers times for this game. I mean, I'm surprised that nobody's talked about Chamber though too. It was weird, but I feel like there'd just be so much util flying around that would Broken Chamber actually even be meta if it had all of this other broken stuff to deal with too?
You could still get in.
It would still get
a
played,
pick
surely.
and then get out. Like
Surely,
like you could run like Raze, Teo, Viper, Astra, Chamber, and then interchange any of those for like Teo, and that's just stupid. That's just like one of the dumbest things that I've ever heard as far as like a broken composition goes.
Who's the best player in this meta? Who's the Jet that dominates, or the Neon that dominates?
Yeah, I think opping players would be, if you're going like Chamber Jet, I think anyone who's really good with an op.
I mean, this would be...
Wardell. This is his meta. He's back.
CNED's meta again.
CNED, Wardell. The original Raze that was going crazy with double satchel, Seagull. If you remember
Seagull?
Yeah, do you remember
like
that?
Junkrat?
Yes. Do you remember that? Well,
I don't
think
remember
of
him double
more as
satcheling.
the classic mix-up roamer, personally. But yes,
Right.
Junkrat as well. But do you remember that?
I
You
don't
really-
remember him
it
doing
was-
double
I remember him.
satcheling.
Yeah, he was the
Playing
first
that.
one that was like double satcheling around, or like.
I remember
within
there was an
first 2 weeks of the
XQC
game
clip
being
of him
released.
double satcheling in the mid of Split, where he double satchels over somebody's head in mid when the game first released. I don't remember Seagull doing it necessarily. Yeah.
I think if you
to
went
the
like
technology.
reverted like full jet, that could be. Soldom just crushes everybody. Like he just surges to the top of
Okay.
the charts.
Okay. Maybe we could get like, I don't know. There are still some players hanging around that remember these old metas too, so they'd have an advantage already. Like Zeke just didn't Zeke just win in challenges over Pacific? I think he's playing for Enterprise, isn't he? And he was, I mean, I think he was playing like original Broken Rays when it was out. So listen, stick him on that and I think he'll be good.
In the current meta, yeah, I would say if you're gonna go Rays, like obviously Jing won the mention, but Wisey,
Oh, Jing. Yeah.
somebody else who would go really crazy on that old Rays. Oh God,
Is this Seagull?
Look
I mean,
Seagull.
so
Check this
relevant,
out.
so relevant that we're playing an iBuyPower clip as well.
look at the icons, dude. They look so different.
They really
that
do.
was
smokes. Look at those
nasty.
3 smokes on site.
Dude, I remember in beta when this came out, I was still trapped in the US because COVID was going on, and the game the beta came out, we got in, and then we were playing in houses. And I remember Josh, you, Bren, myself, and like a bunch of other people, we were playing in houses. I remember playing on, I want to say it was like Split or something, and I knew Bren was drop at B, and I just double naded him and he died.
So
and I remember
stupid.
him. Like we were in separate Discord channels, and I'm pretty sure he joined the Discord channel that I was in, and he just went, "It's fucking broken! It's stupid!" Like he just started freaking out because of the double nade.
It was good times. Honestly, it's so fun to learn a new game where you're like obsessed with it. And now I'm just so bad, man. I am just hard stuck ascending currently. My ranked games have been appalling recently. Appalling. I've lost anything I ever had. It's tragic. I'm out here looking like I've been crypto throwing in ranked. It's fucked.
In EU as well, or
In
just when
EU.
you're playing in NA.
Oh, bro, all the time. I think I've been ruined by playing 150 ping North American games too often, and now I play in Europe, and I'm like, I've lost it all. I've forgotten how to play the game entirely.
That
It's
is
tragic.
tough.
It's
You've forgotten
tragic.
what it looks like when time moves at its normal pace. You're used
Yeah.
to playing on
Constantly
a
shooting
delay.
behind people.
Yeah, yeah, genuinely. I need to, dude. I need to be either bribing or blackmailing to win these ranked games, and that brings us on to our next topic because Seangares dropped the video that has been highly anticipated. Every drama frog in Valorant has been waiting for this. It was like a week ago. Sean, I mean, if you missed the precursor, I don't know how you managed, but. Mr. Funhaver was crashing out on stream, revealing details and rumors about all sorts of different things. Then Sean jumps in and he's like, "Shut the fuck up, you clown! I'm doing an important investigation here." And he's, he's smoking his cigarette and he's like, "You don't know what you've just blown. I'm about to blow this case wide open, and you've just fucked it, kid. You've just fucked it." And then apparently, Wyatt are doing their own investigation as well. Sean talked about some of that too. There was a lot of. I guess I just want to start here. It's a long video, and there was a lot of discussion around it as well. I think people, because of the hype around this, and because of what they remember from cases like the iBuyPower case, where there eventually was, months later, really concrete evidence that ended up taking the players down, I think a lot of people were expecting this to be the end of this instead of the beginning of this.
I don't know if
Yeah.
that's true. I think people were expecting there to be concrete or rather, I think people were expecting there to be concrete evidence surrounding certain players that you could not dispute that they were involved. And this just raised more questions to some extent, while providing some answers and showing obvious legitimacy to the fact that it is happening. There are individuals reaching out to these players, etc. But I think people were hoping to see concrete evidence of at least some of the players, but that is still not the case. It's just raised suspicions around certain players.
Yeah. So if you want to take a look at what like roughly happened. So if you wanted to look at the more hard evidential stuff, you could just watch the first like 10 minutes of Sean's video where he's basically going through chat logs, because that's where a lot of this is has happened is that Sean's been in touch with specifically 2 players who have provided the majority of this evidence, which is Teague and Practo, who both play in Tier 2. With Practo. Practo's a bit of a weird one because at some point his team gets implicated in these match fixing allegations, but Practo himself as a player was reportedly working with Sean to like get information and entrap, I suppose, in some sense, the guy that's been trying to get a lot of the players involved, which is this this better called Bray. And an awful a lot of it centers around what this guy's been doing in terms of enticing pros to try to throw games with a combination of lucrative offers, promises of money, bet slips trying to show evidence that he has won bets before, faked evidence as well by the look of it too, because he's certainly showing bet slips that have been previously posted by other people before. So unless you believe that they're all part of the same group and they're all going in on the bets together, I think it's more likely that he's trying to just persuade the players by taking any bet slip he can find and just blanking out the names and being like, nah, this was a bet that I did, bro. And he's like, you know, putting that out there like, this is my record. Exactly. So there is, I think, pretty incontrovertible evidence that there are at least people being approached to throw matches. That is utterly definitive. And then what do you feel confident saying further than that, I suppose?
It's kind of that, or Bray is like a really like he's like trying to be like Batman. He's trying to catch people. He's trying to entrap the people who are actually willing, and he's trying to police it. But
of course,
no, this person, I don't know if they watch this podcast. Go fuck yourself. This is abhorrent. Don't do this. Stop, please. Like, there's not much more to say, I think, beyond that, though. Like, good on the players to turn him down, the ones that are, you know, featured in the video. But outside of that, like, I don't know. There's not too much to glean other than that it's something that clearly, like, kind of is happening, but the extent of which it's happening is still suspect.
And Sean tries to go through some moments that, you know, are suspicious in some way. And I think a lot of people, you know, picked up on that and going like, oh, you know, this one isn't suspicious. As someone who's watched a lot of fucking VODs over the past 4 years or whatever, you know, some of those clips, it's like, I've seen teams do this. You know, I've seen teams play this bad.
We all watch Carmine Corp. We all saw those clips.
But some of the clips,
I mean, those were heinous. But do you mean so Sean goes through 2 sets of clips, though. He goes through one set where it's alleged that the team is match fixing.
Yeah.
And he goes to another set where the allegation would be that they're in some way cheating in order to win. Now, the game that they're cheating is against his team. The game that he's alleging that there's a suspicion of cheating is against his team. And there was, again, there's a betting slip that shows that there's a large bet being placed. These betting slips, by the way, have not been verified by anybody inside the betting company. Normally, you would work with people inside the betting companies to get accurate data on what the bets were, when they've been placed, who buy, the amounts, you know, when, as to like what the actual line was when they placed the bet, like that kind of thing. These are all just based on the people posting their own betting slips, which that is so easy to manipulate the image, the data, all of that kind of stuff. So I
could post something right now and say, like, look at my bank account. And it would just be false because it has dollars in it and mine does not. So like, it's very easy to lie about that kind of stuff. I mean, people do this all the time with, like, you know, they'll send a thing and say like, oh, this is my PayPal, whatever. Like, you know, I'm doing a giveaway. Like, this is a very common thing around like the fucking Mr. Beast sphere of the internet, where it's just like, I have $500,000 in my PayPal and I'm going to give away 10K to 10 people, and people just incessantly start replying to it and buy into it because they take it as fact.
One of the people that is involved in this betting sphere is called Cooker. So the guy who's been reaching out to the pros, that they have on record reaching out to pros, is called Bray. There's a different guy that's within the same kind of like crypto sphere called Cooker, who also, Bray has been using some of Cooker's betting slip screenshots. Now, whether that means that he's just using them in order to bullshit the pros, or whether it means that he was in on those bets, you can't know unless you're inside the betting company, I think. But the guy Cooker, who's been posting some bets, was posting stuff like you're saying, Achilles, where he's like, I'm going to give away so much money. The next person to respond to this with an @ to the betting platform and an @ So look here, he says, comment your Shuffle.com username. And then if you look at the winners, it's always the same winners. So May 20th, it's this person and this person. The next day, it's those two people again, plus somebody else. And the next day, it's the third account again. So there's been 3 different giveaways, and it's gone out to 3 different Twitter accounts. Bro, that's rigged as fuck. That's not a real giveaway. That's not a sign that the guy is actually making any money at all. That's just the guy trying to engaging. Yeah, that's just. I mean, no, it's not. That's
two
not
people.
True either.
2 people entered again, guys. So
It's the same 2
guess
guys.
who's winning?
Yeah, matter of fact, is he doing one now? I feel like I have good odds of winning if he's running one.
You have a 1 in 4 chance.
But the point being though that the bets that he's making and the ways in which he's going about it, they just feel extraordinarily scammy. Like, you can't verify any of this. But the fact that he's doing it almost as an advertisement for Shuffle.com gets the hairs on the back of my neck triggered. Because anytime you have large amounts of money being moved in match fixing circumstances, or even in things that are legal, like arbitrage betting, where you're making positive EV bets against different websites, so you're using the odds against each other in order to guarantee returns. Anything like that, they will just limit your account. They'll limit your account before you make like 2K worth of returns, because they're losing money. The bookies are losing money. So the fact that they haven't limited these people's accounts, and also they're out there like publicly trying to get people to respond with their Shuffle.com usernames and stuff, makes me feel very suspicious about the platforms that this is being run on as well. Sean also mentions in the video that tier 2 games were suspended for like a couple weeks or something on the platform, but now they're already back. Like, in the midst of all of these allegations dropping, they suspended the games and then they just brought them back immediately afterwards. So yeah, like they said that they had streamer accounts with no limits. What the I mean, that just means that you're being promoted by the website.
This whole thing is a ploy.
It?
Sean's involved. It's all a ploy from the gambling websites to get more attention on the betting scene. That's why it's back. The coffers are gonna fucking explode.
And it's even deeper than that. We're involved by talking about it.
So true.
It's
Where
deeper.
the fuck is my check?
Wait, you guys are getting paid?
Here I am in South Korea gambling illegally.
But I think the main takeaway though is that it's there, as we said, there has definitely been offers made to players. It's perhaps, somewhat pretty possible that some of these players accepted, to do that, and therefore some of these games have been compromised. I think personally, like going through VODs or calling out, I mean, teams is maybe not as bad, but like individual players, calling out individual players for things, I think is risky. I think that's more Riot's job to figure out who's, been in on it. Not an easy job, but that's more Riot's thing to deal with. I think for like the community at wide, for us, it's just important to know that this is a real possibility, and that we'll probably just have to wait somewhat. And again, for like tier 2 NA, fuck no, like Wyatt was saying, like fuck knows if these games will even count.
Listen, as a North American Challengers expert, if I may call myself that, given I've cast so many Challengers games over the past 2 years, I think the largest issue with VOD reviewing these games, which, listen, great content, but also, if the players get exposed, still great content to VOD review what they were doing after the fact.
Oh,
and
that's
go back
great.
and see it.
That's
how
even better.
heinous the gameplay is. And that would have been safer because, for instance, listen, a lot of those clips around Bob, very suspect. But that just resulted in Bob getting suspended from FlyQuest and couldn't play in Game Changers. And if Bob is not actually match fixing, oops, that's a fucking mistake. So I do think probably need to be a little careful around that, because man, the clips that I'm watching in that video, I just see Challengers players doing shit like this way too often. Like, obviously, again, a lot of these clips highly suspect, but the way that most of the duelists, for instance, play in challengers is just so high variance. Everything is the highest risk trying to get highlight worthy plays. There are tons of duelists who play like that ignore proper clearing of angles, proper pathing, and just go for kills. One map, they look like an absolute bot, and the next one they're dropping 30. See that constantly. Even with some of the best teams like Envy, if you watched Envy and you remove the names, you remove the team name, you've never seen them before, you would think in some games that Kane Zera is throwing. I have watched him Odin ISO holding down mouse 1 and W, jumping around corners, not slowing down, just spraying, and then kill contracting people with the Odin and doing the same thing. Like, and then the very next round, the next game, he'll just hit the sickest ace all snap headshots that you've seen. Because the players are just so high.
So you're not only
variance.
accusing him of throwing, but also now of cheating as well.
Yeah.
So he's
I
doing
mean,
both.
that was the implication in the video. No, and the thing I've just seen players play like that constantly, which
Look at Angel.
is why it's just. Yeah, I mean,
Hello?
it's just round 9 Haven Wolves versus Billy. That's in that upper final. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about, where they're like shock darting roofs and
neon stunning
dying.
themselves. Oh, that's a
Yes.
funny round.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, I
but,
do know what you mean.
but so I just obviously Sean knows what he's talking about in regard to those clips being highly suspect. It is very strange, but also a lot of it feels too similar to the nonsense gameplay that I've cast in challengers at times. I mean, there are some games where it looks like both teams are being paid to throw and they're having a throw off. It's tough, man. So
It's
probably would have been better to wait on that, and the definitive evidence first is great.
Yeah.
If he ends up being right about those players, he looks like a genius. But if he ends up being wrong, like especially
Or if he ends up
against
being
Bob,
wrong about just one of them, is the thing. Like, it's just not great.
yeah,
You
so-
can understand why he did it, but maybe it was just too
course.
soon to do it.
Yeah, and again, if the players do get revealed, that's content. Going back and VOD reviewing that, free content.
And I also think one of the things that's being missed a little bit in this is that, again, one of the things that Sean's focused on is that there were these 3 10K bets being placed for Blue Otters to lose, right? So I think it was like Burger Boys had to beat Blue Otters 2-0.
Yes.
And it was 3 separate times 10K bets. But again, these are screenshots. These are not like coming direct from the betting platform where you can verify that they're real. These are screenshots that are being used to try to possibly catfish other pros into actually agreeing to throw. So the reason that you've locked onto them in the first place is that you're taking these scammers or bettors at their word that they are honest about the bets that they've made and are publicizing. And I think that's the area where the assumption may end up being faulty. I'm not saying it is faulty, but I'm saying that generally you would want, again, information from the betting websites. And the betting websites usually, if they're regulated and are operating above board, would want to participate because they're the ones losing a lot of money here because the unexpected result is happening more often and they're losing quite a lot compared to the algorithms that would tell them what the outcome is. And you got to remember too that like the average, like if we want to take away something for our audience, don't bet on tier 2 matches. Jesus Christ! Like
Even
find
if they're all
something else to bet on.
legit, don't bet on them.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
even if they're legit, stay away. Holy
But especially
shit, man.
going onto
They're
crypto
crazy.
websites where you don't know, like going onto deregulated crypto websites in order to place bets on games where the players might have any incentive to not be playing their best. Holy shit, you might as well be burning your money. At least you'd get warm. Like you might as well be setting it on fire. Do not do that. Okay, please don't do that.
Just go play
because
red and black on a roulette or something like that. Like,
I mean, yeah, if you
way
crave the
better
dopamine,
odds.
do coin flip or something. I don't know. I did want to draw us back again, though, to some specifics, because we also saw that the chat logs are by far and away the most compelling form of evidence, I think. And during the chat logs of I think it was Practo talking to Bray about this, where Sean was working through this, is that Bray alluded to the fact that two teams, Prosperity and Burger Boys, were involved in some way in match fixing. Now, the sentence that he writes is not actually very precise. It just, like, I think it's Practo who says something along the lines of, yeah, I mean, I knew that there was some crazy match fixing going on. These upsets have been wild this season. And then Bray comes back with, like, yeah, I mean, have you seen Prosperity and Burger Boys? Haha, you know, something like that. Here we go. Kurt's got it up. Here we go. Everything makes sense now. There were some crazy upsets this split. Motherfuckers were getting the bag. And Bray responds, yeah, bro, fucking like Prosperity Esports and Burger Boys and shit. So this is about as close as you get to the proper naming of names of somebody that has been approaching people to fix matches, is alluding to the fact that those two teams have been in on some games. But it's not necessarily saying, like, I have directly worked with them.
It doesn't have to be every player on those teams. It could
absolutely.
just be
as you would see,
two,
because, well, he's actually talking to Thingy there, isn't he? It wasn't Practo, it was Teague. But Practo is on Burger Boys, and he ended up working with Sean to try to talk to Bray about it. So clearly, it can't be everybody on Burger Boys, otherwise Practo surely would know or something.
He's a
But
mad
it also
genius.
could be it also
Double
could
bluff.
be
Sides, playing
none of
both
them.
sides.
It also could just be literally none of them. And this
It
is
could
just the
be.
thing, because how do you then fact check this if you are, you know, this player? Because you're going to go to somebody on Burger Boys and say, like, oh, hey, I was approached by this guy who's, like, you know, talking about match fixing, and he mentioned your team. Of course they're going to say no, absolutely not. It's like you know, The World's End, like the Simon Pegg movie.
Yeah.
It's like when Simon Pegg's going around and he's trying to get all the guys together, and he keeps saying, like, oh, Andy's coming, because everyone does not expect that Andy's going to be there, and then he just keeps saying, like, yeah, Andy's going to go, and that gets everybody to agree. He's basically like, it could be something like that where you're just lying.
And by the way, we know that they have lied at some point because they scrubbed out the names of one of the betting slips, which had been previously. So they scrubbed out the names of some of the betting slips that they'd taken from. Let me restart this. Bray posted a betting slip to somebody, making it look like Bray had put down a 130K bet, something like that. In fact, it had been posted earlier by Cooker with the name still there of DRX T1. And then the Bray had made it appear by being vague, like this was a North American Challengers game. And then afterwards, it looked quite similar to an Envy Ambrosia game, so people were speculating maybe it was the Envy Ambrosia game. In fact, there's been a screenshot of it being a DRX T1. Now, the fucking DRX T1 thing could have been completely manipulated to begin with. That doesn't mean that it's actually a DRX T1 bet.
But to be fair,
could have
T1
been
are dog
been
shit.
a
I would have
$2
bet
bet.
100 grand on T1 losing. They're fucking dog.
And we all would have gone bankrupt after Bangkok, okay?
But at the same time, like, you could have, like, the whole, like, all of the numbers could be manipulated. Like, I could send it to a friend right now who's just versed in Photoshop. I'm stupid. I don't know how to use it. I could make it, like, I could just get the template, and he could just make whatever. He could just make it look like I was making a you know, $1 million bet.
And
all
this
of it could be
isn't
faked.
And this isn't. There are very good motives to fake this kind of stuff too, right? So it's
Yeah, of course.
yeah, it's
'Cause it's one of those things where it's like, I'm willing to take this risk. You should too.
yeah.
You know, if I'm
Kind of like,
if
oh
I'm-
look,
if
everyone's
I'm
in on
willing
it.
to take-
We're all doing it.
If
Come
I'm
and join
willing to
us.
take $100,000, then surely, like, you should get roped up in this, or you should also look to bet on this. Like, it's, you know, people
So-
try this with stocks all the time. They'll say, like, oh look, this is my stake in this company. You should back them. You know, because, like, this is how hard I believe in them. If you have $2,000 to bet on this, like, people do this shit all the time.
So I feel like the tone of what we're talking about has been very, like, skeptical and critical. But again, it is uncontrovertible that there have been at least attempts to try to rig these matches. Like that is. It is
yeah.
absolutely happening. 100%. But the extent to which, I'd like to ask you, like, how would you even approach something like this if you were Riot conducting an investigation to try to get to the truth? Like, do you think it's reasonable for us to say Riot need to get to the truth of this? Is there actually a path?
Oh, I mean,
for
well,
that to happen.
it is absolutely necessary because the tier 2 scene is already in shambles. It was already in a sad state before all of this came out on account of orgs pulling back, etc. So, in that regard, yeah, it is of the utmost importance because the scene is in its waning days and we're still so early in partnership. And the partnership system desperately needs a healthy tier 2 scene to have strong teams trying to make it into the actual partnership league. Yes, it is of the utmost importance for sure. It has ramifications on the rest of the scene.
Yeah, I think the way Riot would have to go about it would be people snitching. Whether that be teammates, whether that be people who know players but aren't like actually players or coaches themselves, just people who are around them or whatever. That's probably like the easiest way of doing it. Because again, like we could go through all the fucking VODs that we want to, right, and go like, "Ooh, that's shit. That might be a bit suspicious," right? But that's never gonna actively prove that it. The way you're gonna prove it is by getting, oh, here, send the money here, please, and then seeing that money either go in or having like definite screenshots of like, oh yeah, we know this happened. That's real. How else would you get definitive proof?
To bring it to a very similar situation, if you think about the iBad Power case in Counter-Strike,
Exactly.
it ended up being that there was VOD review showed that the rounds were suspicious, and then there was a lot of people who were talking about it being suspicious. Eventually, it was an ex-girlfriend who leaked a text that hooked people into it, and eventually they had to get Valve involved to track the skins. And because it was all within Valve's, because the payments, if you want to talk about it like that, were within Valve's system, they were able to track the skins and how they'd gone from, the person rigging it to the players. Now, if you're not getting paid in Valorant skins, then Riot doesn't have the ability to go and find out how you were paid.
Yeah.
So it's actually infinitely even more difficult than that situation. So I think it's going to be extraordinarily tough to tackle this kind of stuff.
I mean, CoffeeZilla. Recruit him.
Yeah.
Have him investigate. Yeah. Figure out all the wallets where these bets are going and getting cashed out to and everything like that.
I mean, really what you need to do is to have some way of either, getting the authorities involved, which it would have to be extremely large for them to be interested, I think, most of the time. Or you'd have to get the betting companies involved. And in this case,
they will not want to be involved.
I'm extremely suspicious because it would be very bad PR. And also, even if they don't care about the PR aspect of it, even if they were only focused on the money side of it, in which they would be losing money, they're like literally being sponsored or something, or they're like working with these people as ambassadors for their website. So that's extremely, extremely sus. Sean brings up economic incentives to fix this kind of stuff too, because that's one of the levers that people often talk about with regards to this kind of stuff. People in tier 1 are much less likely to throw because they're being paid large salaries and you don't want to toss that away. Or you've got a large career and you don't want to toss that away, right? People still do it in traditional sports, right? We've seen it, but they don't do it very often. It normally ends up being too much risk for the return. Do you think it's feasible? Do you think it's a requirement for Riot to make the tier 2 scene better, and would that fix this kind of issue?
I think it's required, but not feasible. So it won't happen. It is necessary. At this point, trying to think of what orgs are left. There's Envy, TSM, Hubert Academy, who are really just in there for the love of the game because they can't even get promoted. So they're existing as the one team that is also getting co-streamed by co-streamers that brings attention to the challengers scene outside of just the hardcore fans. I mean, yeah, some of you have collegiate teams are some of the top teams now with Winthrop. Most of the other teams are unsponsored or smaller orgs like YFP. It's not the financial incentive is not there to not throw. The financial incentive is also not there for orgs to be interested. There's not enough eyeballs outside of the hardcore fans who are going to be watching any and everything Valorant. Anyhow, it's a tough situation that Tier 2 is finding itself in. And I don't think it's helped that the rules have shifted as well midway through partnership's existence, and org owners were not thrilled about that they no longer have the guaranteed years in the partnership league. I know that some people was a deterrent, so it's all resulted in it being in a tough spot that I am complaining about now and can't offer any solutions towards because I don't know what I mean. At the end of the day, it's always just, what is the solution to drive incentive for people to watch worse professional Valorant gameplay on average when they're already consuming top tier Valorant gameplay from potentially 4 regions if you're that hardcore of a fan? Well, if you're a hardcore fan, aren't you going to be more interested in, like, if you live in America, you're going to watch America's EU, good time zone, probably. You can watch some of the EU games if you're a hardcore fan. And then maybe you want to watch your Gen.Gs, your Paper Rexes, etc. And then if you're a real hardcore fan, maybe you're throwing China in there. And then you're also going to watch Challengers on top of that. You're going to watch Ambrosia versus Sad Esports. Like, it's just an insane amount of Valorant to watch, even for the most hardcore fans. And why would someone be incentivized to watch Challengers over any of those leagues if you're interested in pro Valorant?
Well, because there's more drama in there now.
You're going to be, you're inspecting
we should
for
increase
match
You're
fixing in every
inspecting for
game.
throwing, yeah.
Increase the stakes. Increase the stakes of challengers. Loser dies.
Achilles,
And then we get the match fixers. Hey, I know this is a tough sell. I really need you to throw this game.
You get the 5 OT. You get the 5 OT resets, and Leo Fire just decides to give the thumbs up or the thumbs down, and then it's just it just decides the end of the game.
I think when it comes to these economic things, though, people don't understand how big tier 2 is as well, man. You know, there's 240 salaried players minimum in VCT, right? 240 people making a living wage minimum because it's like 50k minimum salaries, right? That's actually pretty good for something like this. It's better than tennis. I don't know whether people realize that. Tennis is particularly shit, by the way, but it's better than even tennis, which is way bigger. Obviously, the people at the top are earning incredible amounts in tennis. But in tier 2, you have 855 players. There are 240 in tier 1. There are 855 in tier 2 worldwide. And I don't even think that I was including China in that, actually. I think I was only looking outside of China. So, like, it's 3.5 times bigger in tier 2 than it is in tier 1 in order for that pyramid to work. So, if you wanted to pay all of them a minimum salary of like 50k, it would cost you $43 million. That is like that's a huge amount of extra money that would have to come into the scene for that to make
Mr.
sense.
Musk. Mr. Musk, you want to regain some good faith?
Bro, we've already got enough bad actors in the scene. You want to be inviting him in here?
I'm just completely kidding.
I mean, he might be down though for the Hunger Games idea. He might be down for killing the poors if they lose.
Yeah. Cut the waste.
Yeah.
But the thing I would say is that, like, in NA,
you should go into
there's
his
only
family's
one
emerald mines if you lose.
in NA, there's only one academy team. In Pacific, doesn't like everyone have an academy team apart from Paper X? It's like apart from the Ascension teams as well. Pretty sure everyone like academy teams are at least like one
9
way.
in Pacific at least or something like that.
Yeah, academy teams are at least
are a cool
one
idea.
way of like, here's potentially like a little bone, and people might be more interested. You know, if you're a fan of Sentinels, you know, you might watch Qubit Academy, right? If like 100 Thieves had one, if NRG had one as well, maybe you'd be, you know, a bit more interested in that. So and also then you've got like the tier 1 orgs also don't want to maybe look as bad to know that like teams like Qubit Academy, as far as I'm aware, haven't been mentioned in this, you know, at all in terms of like the allegations. Right, and obviously the tier 1 teams would not really want their teams involved in, you know, something like this, of course, if that was the case. So like that would be one way of maybe saying to the orgs, like giving the orgs maybe a bit more of a carrot, like, hey, if you get an academy team, you know, we'll do this for you, you know, just to incentivize them a bit more. Because yeah, otherwise, like you say, Josh, like, what are you gonna fucking, you know, just try and pay everyone in this thing? Like, it just,
There's not enough money.
yeah, there's
Doesn't
just
work.
not enough money.
There's not enough money. There's not enough interest. I think social mobility helps. Like if you actually feel as a tier 2 player that you can make it to tier 1, then you are less likely to risk your entire career. So like Leo's idea again that he's kind of spitballed around the scene a couple of times where he's like, well, maybe we make it more than 2 tier 2 teams that are able to ascend. Maybe it's like 4 or maybe it's like 6. You know, that kind of idea really makes it less likely that you would want to throw away a chance at tier 1. But all of this stuff is like, you're in such a bad, tough position, honestly, because deregulated gambling markets are just a fucking nightmare to try to work with. So tragic. Final thing before I move on. In Valve's case, they permanently banned the iBuyPower players. Now, they did end up reversing that a little bit late, like a long time actually later down the road.
Very long time.
A long time later. More than 10 years, wasn't it, or something?
Steel just got unbanned, right?
Yeah. So it feels like if you can't use economic levers to work it, then maybe you can punish the players massively. And that'll make an example.
Don't give Achilles ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying we take Achilles' idea and we kill the players who match fix. But if you completely crush their chances of making a career out of it, so you know, like, you will 100% guaranteed lose your career if you get caught, does that move the needle? Yes, a bit.
Maybe a bit. Yeah,
but people were talking about it being very harsh in the iBuyPower case.
Yeah, but this is like you know, this has become like big Valorant news now, and often when you see like, you know, big cases, I do think that punishments tend to be a bit harsher, you know, like when it's considered like a bigger thing just to make a bit of a deal of it. So I wouldn't be shocked. And like, yeah, people will say it's harsh. The problem, the real problem would be, as we said, is that it's quite hard to figure out. So you would need like definitive 100% proof if you're going to ban someone forever. Right?
You'd have to have a really good VOD review.
If we scaled the punishment with iBuyPower and Valve as the baseline, if we scaled the punishment with money being cheated for, how many hundreds of years did they get banned? Because
like a kind of American 2 life sentences
for like $700.
Yeah, so you get a 100-year ban for $7,000.
If someone threw a game for $700 in 2025 esports, that is a devious fucking maneuver.
You know, in Dota they have the 3-2-2
I think
meme.
that's what they threw for an iBuyPower. I think it was some.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, compared to now with this
nothing.
betting, it was. Yeah. I mean,
it was.
Imagine they're posting bets that's like, bro, I can give you 500.
they threw for less than what I made in a month working at fucking Radio Shack 2 years before they went bankrupt.
In Dota, somebody got caught throwing for $322, which is wild. The 322 in Dota. So yeah, a horrendous situation all round. I mean, Godspeed to the people involved in trying to dig the truth out of this, but my God, they've got a mammoth task ahead of them, honestly. But yeah, I think at the very least, I'm very appreciative to Sean for going and working with those players and providing an outlet for the players to actually get the like screenshots out there and increase the size of the eyeballs on this as a serious issue.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps the most important thing about this is that he made it a topic that you cannot ignore and that has to now be taken care of, and people have to put their focus on it in a legitimate way of solving it, and not just having some periphery discussion of, oh, this seems like it's happening, there's some shady shit going on. That doesn't really push anyone in an official position to have to move towards solving this goal, and this has done that, which is very important.
Like the Greta Thunberg of corruption.
I mean, sure, yeah, I'd see where you're taking it, I guess. I mean, yeah.
Let's move on to other topics. Let's go to something slightly lighter, something slightly better. The Champions Paris tickets have been announced. So if you're looking to buy tickets for Champs, those are available. And the only reason that I'm bringing this up, because otherwise it'd just be a straight shill sesh. No, exactly. We're not getting sponsored by Riot to talk about this. But I thought it was interesting that they've already, immediately after Toronto, enabled some protocols to make sure that scalpers don't pick up all the tickets. Because for Toronto, they just vanished immediately and people were reselling them for like $1,000 immediately afterwards. So it was like absolute nightmare. Whereas here, you have to have a Riot account. The Riot account must have also played at least one game, so you can't just make it like instantly. And then you get a one-time use access code and a private sales page and that kind of stuff. So they're trying to make it much more annoying for scalpers to just mass pick up the tickets and then resell them for vast amounts of money. So in theory, it should be better for you guys, the fans.
They needed to do this because, I mean, scalping's a problem, but also there's, fewer tickets on the line because EMEA's production shit the bed and they had to give those tickets away. So, they had to make sure that it was even more fair for people to be able to get these tickets.
True. They basically filled the venue up already just with people from the EMEA. Yeah. I thought that it was going to be like some of it was going to be a part of the Karmine Corp facilities, but the place that they've mentioned, I don't know. I don't think that is the KC place, right? The Arena Grand Paris Sud, the South Paris Grand Arena. I don't know. So maybe it's not happening in the Karmine Corp place. I'm not 100% about that, but.
As long as it's not where they had Worlds in 2015, because when I was there, I got out of my taxi from the airport, and the taxi driver said, "Don't go outside if you want to keep your organs," and then he sped away. So if it's not that area of Paris, then I'm probably okay if I get to attend the event.
And the KC fans in the chat are saying it is the KC Arena, actually. So that's cool. So yeah, they're using the Karmine Corp Arena, and then they're going into the where they do the classic bigger thing afterwards. So yeah, awesome. I just didn't know what the name of it was, I guess. Did you get your organs stolen?
No, but I also didn't really go outside much, or at least not without a large group of people. It was a fairly shady area. That whole thing sucked because I had no cash. Got into the taxi and then arrived at the hotel. I went to hand the driver my credit card and he went, "No." And then he immediately drove away from the hotel, drove to like a convenience store where there was an ATM outside with about like 6 or 7 people milling about on the sidewalk. And went like, "Go get cash." And I was like, okay. And I just had to wander out of the taxi, pull out fucking euro, and then go back and pay him. And one of the worst travel experiences of my life. Paris is lovely, by the way. Great.
Are we supposed to be shilling? Is this the shill segment?
No, trust me, that was in a very bad area, like just genuinely. And I think that Wyatt also acknowledged, and they're like, this was not the best place to do this.
So many people that I've talked to hate Paris. I don't get it. I actually love that city. And so many people I talked to are like, Paris fucking sucks. And I don't know what happened to these people in Paris. I don't know. Maybe they've just met too many French people. I don't know.
I met a French guy at a poker game the other night at the casino. I was just sitting down playing casually, and he was just like, and I was just like, "Oh, what are you doing in Asia?" He's like, "Oh, I fucking hate France. I hate Paris." I was like, "Oh, okay." He's just like, "Yeah, I'd much rather just live here for the rest of my life." I'm like, "Oh, well, are you gonna do that?" And he's like, "Oh, I have to go back in 30 days, and I hate it."
It's just misery, I guess. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Is Champions Paris going to fill us all with misery or fill us with joy?
It'll probably be good. It'll be good.
I think it'll probably be all right.
I'm gonna eat escargot.
6 out of 10.
Yeah,
good shill session, everyone.
Yeah. All right, Masters Toronto. The rest of the episode is going to be talking about Masters Toronto. We're going to do our bold predictions for the winner. We're going to then go through power rankings. The power rankings when you have a Swiss stage is basically the exact same thing as just doing pick'ems for the Swiss stage anyway, but I guess we'll just lock those in on VLR for the culture. And, members will have a link that you can go to as well, and you can compete against us in the pick'ems. And then we'll talk a little bit about some of the matches as well that we know about or anticipate. But for now, bold predictions. We asked everybody here to pick a winner of Masters Toronto.
Oh, Seth's smiling.
The results were our bold predictions, all of us picking a different team, every single one of us.
Yippee.
Let's go left down the line. For the audio listeners, Achilleos has gone for Gen.G. TMV's gone for G2.
Stage left.
Yeah. TMV's gone for G2. Sideshow's gone for Team Heretics, and Wyatt's gone for Fanatics.
Sideshow, your third person.
I have gone for Heretics.
I'm just speaking to the audio.
Maniac.
They might not know who I am. That's less ego.
Well, then saying your name means even less.
Has this ever happened?
I don't remember a tournament.
I don't think this has ever happened. No,
probably not. Mine's a little. Different. I mean, I'll admit, mine's a bit of a punt.
So is mine, to be honest.
I don't think so.
Feels like it.
Yours is more of a punt because
I think Josh. Well, hold on.
Never.
If we punt tier list this, I think Josh is the puntiest.
No, I think
You don't think
sixes.
so?
Well, we're gonna
You think
fucking
Seth
power
does?
rank them later,
Oh, yeah.
so
Okay,
wherever
yeah,
we
All
go
right,
from there,
Seth.
we'll see, won't we?
Seth, your
Why will
punt on
Gen
Gen
G
G.
win? Yeah.
Why is Gen G gonna win?
I just look like, did they look great in the final? No, but they also had to play, they played a good amount of Valorant. And I think that RQ had a really good anti-stratting, as they typically do. I think Gen G, they're a team that really does well with prep time. I think that like Munchkin is probably nonstop, just like laying on a couch somewhere, staring at his phone, watching VODs right now, and he is just downloading and just trying to really assess like
Trying to
what his
find those
opponents are going to
fixes.
do. Yep, he's gonna figure it all out. But I think that overall, like the growth from Gen G has just been exponential, and I think that is going to continue. I mean, it got to the point where even you, Sideshow, cannot deny that Foxy9 is genuinely a good fucking player. Like the whole team across the board, like when they're clicking, they look like world beaters. They look like, the Gen G that was able to win Masters last year. And I think that they're going to be able to do it again. Or that they are capable of doing it again.
Capable of doing it again? That's reasonable, I think. It's reasonable. Now, I don't even want to ask you because you're so boring. This is normally my job to be the boring guy who predicts the favorite TMV, but I feel like it is dull to be going for G2. It is
Not only
very
you.
dull.
I want to blast Kurt for this as well, because Kurt, an America's producer, when I said, "Oh, I guess I'll just go boring and pick G2," he sent me a little melty face emoji, like as if he was fucking bored of the answer as well, despite working for America's. Yeah,
No
G2,
comment.
They're good. They're good.
Honestly, you don't need to say much
Yeah,
more
I don't
than
need
that,
to
do
say
you?
anything. Like, yeah, they're fucking
That's
good.
that's the
do we all agree that they're the favorites?
G2?
Would you agree that
they're good? Like,
I would say, yeah, I would expect them to be like bookies' favorites. Like,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
That way.
again,
But
I
this
think we
was-
get an infinite fucking match if G2 and Heretics face each other in the final. It will never end. Both
Yeah.
teams will just be like, we can't fucking win. Same with PaperX. If any of those three teams are grand finalists, it's fucked. We'll never leave Toronto.
The case for Heretics, I got to admit, it's a little bit of a
Sideshow's got to admit.
Yeah, Sideshow must admit that Sideshow was being quite ridiculous with his pick for Team Heretics. No, I based this on the fact that I was thinking, which teams do I think are most reliant on the current understanding of the meta? And I thought, well, that's not Gen G. Gen G are playing like old stuff from like 2 years ago, so it's not really them. But it definitely is G2 and Fnatic. I feel like those, especially G2, they are going to be playing their style of game might lose a couple percentage points because of the way that they play. Fnatic are also an extremely disciplined team currently that do play a lot for that kind of like post-plant theory style. And I think meta instability might mess with them a little bit too. I think Fnatic are a great team when the game is like solved and when they feel like they've got the complete control over everything that's going on. The more chaos there's going to be, and I think this is going to be a chaotic tournament, the more I go in favor of teams like Heretics, who are just a bit batshit insane right now. They're going to do a T1 and they're just going to run double duelist and kill everybody.
I don't think Heretics is going to do well with the Chaos. They didn't do well with the Chinese Chaos of Champions. They ended up fumbling.
They defeated all the Chinese teams apart from EDG.
And that was the only one that fucking mattered in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, they got second place. They did better than Gen.G. Gen.G got eliminated in groups.
Yeah,
Can I offer you a take?
Before that, where's Heretics' trophy, huh?
They've been in more. They've been in so many grand finals. So many.
Gen.G's
Surely they're
been
due for
Yeah,
one.
so you think they're gonna win one?
Almost every grand finals you possibly could last year.
That's true. But Heretics are due a win, Seth. That's what you don't understand. I've been talking to the crypto gamblers. I now understand how it works.
It's hit 7 reds in a row. It's bound to be black this time.
It's got to be black this time.
Okay,
Can I offer you a take
comes
of
up.
you talking about the meta stuff? I think that the map shift is bigger than the Teo nerf.
Okay, but also they were amazing at Sunset in the past.
Yeah, but I'm saying that, and this might be true for Heretics as well. I think that G2's advantage of getting rid of their permaban in Fracture and going to Sunset, and now they can have a full 7 map pool, is bigger than them suffering from not being able to play Teo.
That would also, though, it would require G2 to be good on Sunset now, which they could do.
They've had
They're
a
much
month. They're
better
gonna have
team.
like 6
Yeah,
weeks.
no, they just used to be. That used to be a bad map for them. Their record on that map was pretty abysmal.
Whereas when you look at like Paper X or Heretics or something, their records previously on Sunset have been really excellent.
What was the last game Heretics played on
G2's
Sunset?
previous records though would
Bro,
have been with
the last game they played on Sunset, I don't fucking know, and it was probably a loss because
cast
they.
it. You cast
Got his
it.
ass.
You
Yeah,
cast
well,
it.
but-
Grand final, EDG, 13, 2 or 3.
Every fucking time you end a game in a tournament, you've lost unless you won the tournament. Which means that a lot of times, the last time you played a
Well,
map,
to be a 5, they could have won
Not the
that
best
one.
of 5, motherfucker. They could have won that map
yeah,
and lost
they
the
could've
game.
taken
Well, they
one.
didn't. They got slammed down by Kang Kang.
sample size of
Yes,
one.
it was
Sample
30.
Based
size
on
of
your
one.
logic and what you just said, Josh, Heretics
What have you
has
shown me
never
recently?
won. They've only ever lost.
Their overall record all time on Sunset is 18-5. And you're going, oh, well, what happened
And
last
you
time?
picked them to win. What's their record in a grand final?
Their record in the grand final is that they're due one. You don't understand. I've already said that. They are due a win.
How many times have I said that DRX would do a win? Has that worked out for me? Nope. Get ready for pain, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's one roster that's not due a win. They've already had their wins. They've had it. They've had all the good times have already happened to them, and it's Fnatic. They're not due any more wins. They've already had the wins.
What, G2? You will
But
win.
you know what? They know
I
the difference
agree.
between Fnatic and Heretics. Between Fnatic, they know how to win, Josh. And also, I don't know how you're picking Heretics when Fnatic are in this tournament. They have them in their fucking pocket. Like they own them. They do. They have compared to every other team in EU have such an understanding of how to beat Heretics. Outside of that last regular season game, but who cares about that? In the playoffs, 5-0. They crushed them. Aside from that one fracture game, none of the maps were close. Now, I actually do agree with your point, TMV, about the map being more important than the Teo change, which is a knock against Fnatic because they pick fracture a lot. And the
They
record on it
historically
is
haven't been
pretty
great at
solid.
Sunset.
Yeah, they've been mid on it as well. So I think that's not ideal for them. That is one thing that I was considering as a knock against them. I think my biggest factors going in are, one, rating the other EU teams highly, because the fact that you've picked Heretics as a winner, but Fnatic have stuffed them 5 maps in a row is a testament to how good Fnatic have been. Additionally, for me, if I'm doing, for the top 10 players, in terms of player form heading into this tournament, I have Kayak as number 1, and I have Alpha somewhere in the top 5. And then beyond that, I think Boaster's calling at the moment is phenomenal. They're, the vibe of the team, the cohesion outside of the game seems great. I feel like they've got everything they need rolling at the moment to be able to win another tournament with a different roster this time. Everything is clicking right now. They're peaking at the right time. I'm sold on Fnatic, and I think that the fact that you are willing to pick Heretics to win is a testament to how good Fnatic should be and are going into this tournament.
Can I ask you a question, Wyatt?
Okay.
Do you think Pirate Software cries at night because he wishes he sounds like you do naturally?
Well, Pirate Software.
Does anyone
this an old
okay,
man
no one on this
reference?
call gets that?
I know who you mean, but I mean, I don't think that Wyatt knows who
Pirate
you mean.
Software.
I
don't know
just
what you're
you were talking
about.
for a elongated period of time, and I was like, this is probably what he wishes he sounded.
I mean,
We're looking into this.
You've been it's a guy who got
looking
popular by
into this.
posting shorts, and he has like a bass boosted microphone voice.
Is that why when I search his name, drama is the first thing that comes
Oh,
up?
yeah.
Because he
Oh,
has a
yeah.
fake voice.
He was
Well,
in a,
not
he
just
was in a
that.
hardcore WoW guild,
Oh.
and then he ran away and let all of his comrades die in a dungeon instead of turning and fighting a situation that actually could have been turned around. And he was playing the perfect class to be able to turn the tides of the fight. So they all called him a rat and a roach. And he just went, "That's on you, bud," and he like fucking ran away.
And
Is that drama? That just sounds funny.
Oh, it's big drama. Big drama. As soon as the streamers get involved, huge drama. All right, let's go into our power rankings, I think. Can we throw these top 4 up there in the top 4? Let's not worry about the order, and we'll sort out the bottom first. Because, all right, we're at least going to agree somewhat that these are up there. We might not agree that they're definitively the top 4 teams, but let's toss them up, and then we'll deal with the bottom.
Can I let
TMV
you guys
doesn't
get
look happy about
started
it.
while I use the restroom, and then I'll come back
I
to
don't look happy about
salvage?
that because I think the middle of this.
I'm gonna
tournament
do
is-
that without permission. All right,
Yeah,
goodbye. I'll be
That's
right back.
fine.
Oh, quick! We can fucking get these Pacific teams down
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Let's fucking get those Pacific teams right down there. Put Gen.G in like ninth.
I
See
mean,
what he does.
it is wild that none of us went for RRQ. We picked the top seed from every other region apart from APAC and China. I mean, we did pick an APAC
Wow.
team, but we didn't pick RRQ.
Are we feeling like XLG are cooked status though?
By losing
I don't think
YOU, I don't think they're cooked, but I,
I
think
don't-
they're
it's
like
enough.
they're not gonna win.
When I'm factoring in that plus, do I actually? I hate the narrative of it's their first international LAN or it's this player's first
Yeah, I
international
agree.
LAN. Fuck that
Put
narrative.
Wolves in
Actually,
3.
that narrative, yeah, maybe even 2. I think that narrative has proven to be wrong a solid 80% of the time.
Does it work for teams though? I feel like it's been accurate for teams. Like a lot of teams require a couple of international events before they win. They have like a deep run or something and then they win. Unless they've been absolutely, unless it's like early years where we didn't have a lot of events. You know, when like Optic
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Well, I think we should. I think we should set
Or
out
Fnatic,
because
when it
all
was a
power
super
rankings
team.
suffer with this, right? Is this? I know you said, Josh, like the Swiss stage kind of mirrors how it works, but in this particular tournament, right, we could think that XLG are worse than a team that goes out in the Swiss and still.
Yeah,
like,
let's do it as a true power ranking.
Yeah.
Let's ignore
Okay.
the fact.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you really think that XLG are worse than 8th place,
Yeah.
then we
Put
can
them
put
worse, yeah.
XLG in 9, 10, 11, or 12. Now, I don't think I believe that, but yeah, let's treat it like a true power rankings, and then we can do the pick'ems afterwards if it is actually relevant. I think we've got to put Wolves in 12th.
Fuck off.
Okay, but also give me any evidence.
Possibly be
Exactly, who could be worse?
Who could be worse?
Who
BLG.
is
Who
worse?
did Wolves beat to get to fucking Toronto?
Well, yeah,
BLG.
it could be BLG. It could be, but
Well,
What
then
the
put
fuck
BLG
is going
worse.
on here already? What is happening?
We're just talking about, we're happy with where the Pacific teams are. And
Yeah,
I
we're just
can-
debating
I'm
whether
gonna
Billy
watch
Billy should
this
be
back.
out.
I will see who the instigator is here. I will find out.
Bro, it's just been Kurt silently
Kurt.
moving them.
yeah. It's Kurt just
So
trolling away.
this seems like you guys are
Trolling away.
just fucking throwing Kurt
Would-
under the bus.
No.
He's throwing
Achilles,
himself
would
under
you
there.
agree? Would you agree that Wolves Billy have got to be in 11, 12?
I
Is
would
there
put
another team?
XLG down there? They're going to be playing with a sub.
They are going to be playing with a sub, but I don't personally think it's going to make them worse than Billy or Wolves.
I don't
think
think
they-
so either.
I think it hurts them a lot. And I think that if you're just going to be balancing the Chinese teams, I would probably still end up putting XLG below them because of the sub.
I can't.
I
I
don't-
can't.
I
I think
don't think
XLG as a team just have such a better overarching system. They are so much more regimented than the
Look,
other
there's
two
only
teams from
s-
China. That I still
there's
think
only so
inserting
much-
a player, it'll hurt, but
I agree. I think they've just got a good system from the coaches.
Yeah.
They've also changed players before, and they've still been good. So
There's
I'd
only
be,
so much
I'd
I
be
can
surprised.
glean from the ACL tournament that I was casting in Shanghai, but because they have no reason to show anything new. Like there's a ton of money on the line for that tournament. They could have won like $120,000 or something.
I'm
But
not even sure they were playing
as-
with their actual
yeah,
fifth.
they were still playing with you.
But that was
though,
the thing
right?
is that they
they were
didn't.
playing with
They
Martin.
had Martin in, but now it seems like Martin is just going to be in, but not with that same core because YU's not on the team. So like it's
Well, no, I think
another shift.
The rumor most recently that I've seen from Weibo is that it might be Midi, who was a player. So he was like a Tejo player that recently.
Well, that's going to do well.
Well, yeah, that is weird. That is very weird. But he played for Trace Esports, and he's been playing Tejo Sova. So it is really strange to replace your majority like breach player with a. But I think a lot of it is just going to
But
come
he's
down
at
to like
least an
who's available with a
initiator
visa
player.
as well. Yeah, but he's an initiator player. He's not like Martin, where he's a sentinel player. So yeah, it makes a little bit more sense, I guess. I mean, I don't know why MIDI, by the way, would have a visa, whereas the other options wouldn't. I'm not privy to that, but that's the recent rumor that I've seen. Might not even be true. Anyway, I just don't think it's going to knock XLG down below Billy or Wolves, personally.
I don't think you is an integral part of the team on an individual level. I don't think he's His replacement
Throw
is
me a
not going to
fucking
affect
bone.
firepower.
Put Wolves
is what I'm
above
getting at.
Billy Billy, please.
Why though? Give us a
Please.
reason. Give us a reason.
This is all heart. Sure.
Of course it's fucking all hard, but that's all I've got, Wyatt. That's all I fucking got. Throw me a bone. Kurt, I said I would only come on if you put
you know
Wolves in
what?
the top 3. I've changed that to top 11. Give me a break.
Juicy, I'll go. Juicy has a lot of heart too. You know that kid's got heart. You can throw.
Are we
him in
really
11.
giving Wolves the pity 11?
Fucking hell, does it matter?
I mean, I guess not. I
Who's
guess
coming at you for putting Billy Billy in 12? Is Billy himself turning up at your door?
But I think a lot of people are going to be more familiar with Billy Billy because they upset NRG in the past, and they're going to be thinking,
good
well,
for them.
I think they're going to be thinking, well, Billy Billy are
Well,
probably
if
more likely to
NRG
get
were on this
upset
list,
than
I'd put them
Wolves.
13th.
Don't you think? Okay, they're probably not going to be playing against each other. It's probably going. Well, actually, they might be at some point in the Swiss, but it's probably going to be based on whether they get like an upset over somebody else, right? As to whether or not you're actually like 12th, 11th, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And you
Wisey
don't think they're
was
going to get
looking
any
good.
upsets?
I will say, Wisey was
I
looking
think-
very good at the
Yeah,
ACL.
Wisey's looking
like
good.
he was clean. Raga was not actually performing to the standard that I had expected of him at that tournament. That's why I have a little bit more doubt in XLG. But again, but also like, yeah, it wasn't the full roster, so I don't know.
Okay. Who else are we looking at in terms of teams that we're
Teams
not
down
expecting to do too well?
At the bottom,
Towards
Paper
the
Rex,
bottom.
Liquid, maybe?
Not
Liquid.
Paper
Ah,
Rex.
not
No,
Paper
really?
Rex.
Have you not been sold on Paper
What?
Rex, though? At this point.
I'd put Liquid
Versus
down.
this field?
I mean, it's a tough field, but like...
I'd put them
Yeah.
in the bottom half. If we're talking like what teams do I think are in the bottom half, I'd say right now like Paper Rex, Team Liquid.
He was
XLG.
we just cue up the
Would be the
Sliggy
3.
video that he pre-sent for this episode.
Okay.
Bottom half? I mean,
yeah, bottom half I could get away with, but...
I would maybe.
I mean, the
put
bottom half
Paper
is going to be
Rex.
stacked, bro.
I don't know. I think Paper Rex are one of the biggest beneficiaries of the patch change.
They
They
are.
didn't
Yeah, I
give.
think so.
They didn't give a
Their
shit
Sunset has also
about
been
playing
very good
Tejo.
historically.
I love the way the Paper Rex play their defense and how they flood with their util without the Tejo. They're already set up for this meta, and they were goated on Sunset. They were good on Fracture, but I think they're even better on Sunset. I think they might be the biggest winner of this patch at this tournament.
well, let me just ask you, would you rather MIBR or Paper Rex? Who'd
Paper
you
Rex.
Paper
I would
Rex.
take Paper Rex right now.
Really? I'd take
Yes.
MIBR.
Oh, I don't know.
Nobody
But that's
on Paper
where I-
Rex baits.
Not by a crazy margin.
Can't say the same
Yeah,
for
but
MIBR.
I would take Paper Rex. So.
I think, yeah, I suppose maybe Paper X over MIBR. I'm not really sure, though. I don't know. But we've got to find somebody to fit in the 10th spot. It feels really harsh to put like a good... Because I think 11-12, I'm like, I don't actually really believe that Wolves and Billy Billy are that great. I think they might have an upset result in them. For sure. They might go like 1-2 in Swiss instead of 0-2.
Or
But-
should I want Wolves to be 12th so that they can win like T1 did when they were in 8th? That's a good point.
I
Think about
think...
Keep them in 11th.
I think
I
we
think we
kind
should
of
put-
have to put XLG in 10th, which is harsh as fuck, but like...
They are playing with the sub.
They're playing with a sub. Maybe they would be better than an MIBR or a Liquid or something like that. Maybe Raga would slaughter, but
I have more.
I don't know.
I think I'd put Paper X above Liquid. I think Liquid. I'm concerned about Liquid's map pool because they're permabanning splits. It's not like they're Pearl, sorry. So it's not like they're getting an advantage there. Team Liquid, they banned Pearl 9 out of 9 times. They picked Split 7 out of 9 times in their games
Yeah.
during stage 1. Like they would, every map was just ban Pearl, pick Split. And it worked for them for a large part, but towards the end we saw them lose to BBL. And like some of their other maps, you know, their Haven, their Icebox hasn't been amazing. So I have more questions about them. I do think that they could get out of the Swiss, and don't they play BLG?
Yes.
Yeah, but again,
So
now you're making it feel more like
now I'm
predictions
making it more,
rather
yeah.
than...
But I'd still have them
power
above
rankings.
BLG, but they
Those
could
power
still do all right.
ranking-
Okay,
I'd leave Liquid on the lower end of it.
Can we throw MIBR up there? Let's just put MIBR in 9th for now, just to
Oh.
fill it out, and then let's tweak things around. Because are we agreed then that the 6 teams we have at the bottom should
Yeah,
not be
I'd say that's the top 6.
in the bottom half? Or at least let's tweak the middle later, but broadly speaking, none of these teams are going to be 9 through 12th.
And I might, yeah, well, yeah, sure. I won't. Oh, yeah, okay.
Sure.
So I might be just
Who are you
smoking
thinking?
some
I'd probably swap
Potent
MIBR for
grass,
Liquid.
but I really want to put Paper X higher. I might be.
Okay, but who
tripping.
would you put
Wyatt,
under?
we still have time to do that, and I love the way you're thinking.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
But I think you'd swap Liquid with MIBR.
I would also agree with that.
I don't know about that. I feel like when I'm thinking back on watching these games, MIBR is one of the teams that I don't have strong associations with, like extremely good game plans and like a style of playing the game and that kind of stuff. Like I really like the way that
need that to
Liquid,
get to 9th.
I don't know. You actually might. I mean, this is a crazy competitive tournament. If you don't get free wins,
Basically, have to say that they
Well,
have to
but
be able
that
to. They have to
Icebox
be able to
is
beat
really good.
XLG in power ranking. They have to be able to beat XLG with a sub. They have fucking Aspas.
I'm not sure that if XLG didn't have a sub, I think I would want them above MIBR.
I think that's fair.
Really?
I think
Yeah,
that's
I'd agree with
probably
that.
I
okay.
actually, yeah.
But I'm
view
like
them
I'm
pretty
close.
similarly
I'm
in
close, but I
power
think
level,
I'd go
yeah.
down to. I think I'd want XLG without a sub ahead of MIBR, and maybe ahead of Liquid. I'm not exactly sure, but with
but
a
we're
sub,
talking about-
it gets much
We're talking
more.
about Liquid versus MIBR though. I think, and I do think it's close. I think all these teams now are getting close. Like, you could make an argument, I think, for any of these teams in any order, really. But I think that MIBR's big advantage is that no one really bans Icebox, and their Icebox is really good. Like, they've destroyed everyone they've played on Icebox, and so I think that if they can take Icebox against pretty much everyone, that they'll start a lot of games 1-0 up.
Mm.
Now, some of their other map pool, I agree, is concerning. It's not amazing, but I
That's
think
fine,
having a
considering
dominant
we all ban
map like
Icebox.
that is good, and a map that no one really
Yeah,
bans.
that is a very, very fair point.
I
Very
think
fair
Liquid
point.
should be in 10th, MIBR 9th, XLG 8th.
But they're playing with a sub. You said if they weren't playing with a sub, I
Yeah.
agree with you. But they are
And
playing
then-
with a sub.
And then I thought about it, and I don't give a fuck.
You think XLG should be an 8th? No, I don't agree.
Number
don't
one Chinese team, Raga's going to come out and dominate. The game plans
let-
are always good. Their ult rounds are much better than what we've seen from Liquid and MIBR. They're like, the set rounds from XLG are better than Liquid and...
I'll let you flip. I'd let you
MIBR
flip XLG
yeah.
and I'll let you flip XLG and Team Liquid.
Happy Way is going to come out and slap Nats in the face.
See now
All right,
that
let's,
exchange.
Let's relax.
I'm fine with.
And let's calm the fuck down, buddy. I think XLG will struggle against teams that are very good at counter-stratting. That is one of my major concerns for them. They have a lot of great set plays, and I like their system, but man, a lot of their shit has really obvious tells, and I think they could get picked apart. But they'll have to change a lot because they also played a lot of Tejo. I think they're going to be
Yes, they'll
one
have
of
to
the
change
victims
tons.
of the patch change.
But they have so much time, Wyatt, to change stuff. Unlike teams like Liquid, for
Yes,
example.
that is true. Yes,
Who
they do have more
barely
time.
have any time at all to change. So I think I'm not feeling as big on Liquid heading into this tournament, though I do like their style. But yeah, I don't. Okay, let's try to make some decisions. Let's start from the 10th place spot.
Why can't we start from somewhere easier?
What is easier?
this is
You think
fucked.
the top's easier?
Maybe not. Well, well, number one. Wait, hold
It
on.
might be.
Yeah, number one.
Put G2 in number one.
Okay, yeah,
we can all
agree.
we can all accept that G2 can be in number one,
Yes.
even if we're not
Yes.
picking them to win. Okay.
Yeah.
I think.
All
that's
right,
fine.
Wyatt, you found common
Diplomacy.
ground. The diplomacy's going crazy from you.
Number
right?
two, I would
number
leave,
two?
though. Number two is going to be a
God,
shit show.
God, for number two, that one's fucked. That one is fucked.
Okay. So then, where are we back to number 10 again?
Look, I think 6 you can put RRQ.
How about number
personally.
5?
I think 6 you can put RRQ.
Well,
I'm
it's hard
not
to
mad at that.
It's
I'm
hard
not
to
mad at
disagree
that.
with you because we don't have anything solid around it. You've just kind of put them as a blob
No, but
in
I'm
the
saying,
middle.
no, I'm saying that I would put them above the teams that we have below them, and of the rest of them, I would put the rest above RRQ.
Oh, see. Here's
I
my
would
hot
take-
take if we want to
Are
get
you
stuff
going
going
Sentinels?
crazy. I think RRQ have got a better chance of winning this than Gen.G do.
Ooh,
I
okay.
Oh,
I
no,
see what
wait.
I understand the arguments for Gen.G. But I think that a lot of the stuff that they're doing is like old meta stuff that other people will have very good reads on how to beat. And I don't see that evolution in their game of them like.
And you hate Foxy9.
No, it's not the Foxy9 slander. It's not. Honestly, it's not anymore. But
At
I
least
just think
he's-
you've got to
he's
put
saying the word
respect on
slander,
RRQ.
That's progress.
You've got to put respect on RRQ. What they've done in terms of their ante, the advantage they'll have in terms of like watching these other teams as well, if you wanted to take it a more predictive route too. But if you just want to talk about their strengths, Jemkin's individual performance, their overall ante, their game plans, the way that they're approaching the game from a like thoughtful perspective as well. They've even gotten over some of their like nervous hiccups too. So maybe they'll collapse in a big game later on in the tournament. Maybe they'll collapse in like a top 4, top 3
worried
game.
about that.
But they'll get there, I think. I think they'll get to a deep position.
Okay. Yeah, I'm being convinced right now. This is my I'm being convinced face.
That's your I'm being that was your there's nothing going on behind the eyes face as far as I can
They're the same face.
This is CMB's convinced
Over
case.
here. Yeah.
Me when I'm listening.
Okay, hang on. Throw the thing up again. The graphic.
Good.
I think RQ needs to be top 4.
I could be down with them in
Well
fourth.
then, but that, if we're putting them fourth, Seth, I've got bad news for you.
Gen.G's
Gen.G
fifth.
are going below them.
That's fine.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Because
I didn't expect that.
because this is eye test power rankings, not what's actually going to happen. Because what is going to happen what's going to happen is, you know, they're going to go on a fucking run, and then the inevitable will occur, which is that the grand finals is RRQ versus Gen.G. So they have
okay.
to meet again. It's going to
All
happen in
roads
the
lead
grand
back
final,
to that.
and then
Okay.
Gen.G wins it this time.
This is
Now-
a pure vibe check, but I feel like Gen.G got ahead of themselves in the online qualifier. In that game, in the upper bracket final where they 2-0'd RRQ, you could see them feeling like they already won the games. They just started rushing sites on Lotus after they were up 8-0. They were fucking around and finding out, and they still won because Texture dropped 1 million. And I think that in the finals, RRQ came well prepared. Jemkin was fantastic. I think that humbled Gen.G. They fucking had to stare in the eyes of God in Jemkin.
The second
And
time they
now-
ever lost that team.
And now coming
They're pissed
into
about
this
it.
event, they're locked in. They're humbled. They're locked in. And
But if they
this is a pure vibe read.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It is a vibe read because
So
they're
number
not...
2.
No.
So number 2, actually number 3 because Fnatic are number 2.
No, because what they've
I would
actually
say-
shown is not better than RRQ.
I would say Fnatic at 2. Does anybody
Yeah.
disagree with that?
Yeah, no,
I think I'm down for that.
Wait, no, Fnatic are number 2.
Really?
Yeah, they are. Wait,
I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
I misinterpreted Seth's words. I want them in
Yeah,
number
you picked
2.
Fnatic.
I want them to
This
be
would-
in number
This would be
2.
strange. Nah, put them at 6.
I mean, I'm down for that. I feel like even though I predicted Heretics, I think, again, if you're going based on like what has happened at the regional level and the forms that the teams have shown, seems very reasonable. It's not going to happen, but it's very reasonable. And then you put Heretics at 3rd.
The Heretics
Well-
are an interesting one because
Okay,
if
how
we're
about-
ta-
I'm
if-
with him. I'm with you, Josh. I'm with you.
No,
I mean,
hang on.
I'm
How
with
about
you.
that? How about this?
I'm
How about
kind of
this?
with you too.
Slide.
Oh!
No.
I'm with you.
Look. Here. Let me cook. Slide RQ over to 3rd, and then put Heretics at 4th, and then boom.
I put Sen above Gen.G.
There you go.
Okay, wait there. Before we do the Gen.G thing. Well, actually, no, Gen.G. Hold on.
No,
But,
no,
yeah,
you don't have
Kurt,
to
do
control Z.
that.
You don't have to control Z. Keep it.
Gen.G. You would put Sen over Gen.G.
I'd put Sen over Gen.G.
I think
I
I think I would as well. Let me just remind myself of what Sentinels were up to at the end there. I think I would, honestly.
I mean, Sentinels, they left us off in a peculiar position where they were incredible against. They destroyed MIBR in the upper bracket final. They beat G2, first America's team to do that, and then in the final, they disappointed me. I predicted them to win and let me down. They've left me in a peculiar emotional position. Don't know what to think of them, about them, and I don't know where to put them.
But if you
fifth,
think
then.
about your
And
think about your
Quick,
state-
he's gone. He's fucking gone. Put
Yeah.
them in 5th. Put Gen.G in 6th. He's gone.
Yeah, I mean actually. No.
Well, now and
Wait, he's-
my
My
thing
cat was
is-
clawing at the door. I had to check on the cat.
my
No,
thing is-
Wyatt,
the
Wyatt,
brakes
I
here.
want to dial into your mentality. Try to
Okay.
think about the headspace you were in before Sentinels lost to G2. Right?
Oh,
right
sure.
before that grand
They
final.
are incredible.
That's 99% of the evidence. Right there.
What does that mean?
What I mean is there's only one game after that.
What does that
There's
mean?
only one match
Wyatt, let me-
after
let me
that.
get
There were
Don't-
Don't
99 wins before it.
well no, but okay.
No,
it was
but,
like
no, but Wyatt, you
talking
thought
about?
that they were
Lawyer.
incredible.
They
You
were
thought they were
incredible.
incredible.
it's like
Yeah, but then they
70%
lost to
of
the
the
number
evidence.
one. They lost to the number
Exactly.
one team. So
They
that's
lost
not
to
that
the
bad.
best team in the world, and you're saying that that's spoilt the entire barrel of apples for you?
They're not the best team in the
Not
world.
the
They're
Fly
just
in
best
the
team-
ointment?
Not the
Is
whole
T1 the best
barrel.
team in the world still, Seth?
They were. They're not now.
Fucking hell. For 2 days, they were the best team in the world, Seth.
It was the 2 days that mattered.
It was.
No, but you're
It
right.
was.
Okay, Sen should. You know, you're right. You're right. Put Sen in number 3.
No, no, you
I'm
fucking
fucking
clown!
around. I'm fucking
We
around.
convinced him too much.
No, no, no.
Remember when they lost, Wyatt? Do you remember?
Oh yeah,
okay.
no, that was a shit performance. Put him back in number. Put him in number 8.
Put,
I
okay,
think-
Sen at 4. Heretics at
Oh,
5.
no.
Gen.G
no.
no. Sen at 4. Heretics at 5. Gen.G at 6.
See, I think there are arguments you could make for this if you were down on Heretics, because Heretics did have a really bad performance both the times they played against Fnatic.
I'm up on
But-
him. Well, to watch them
They've
play
also had
against
really
Liquid
bad
though.
performances
I know.
all
If
the
you-
times
if
they've
you
ever got
watch-
to a grand final.
Fnatic
That's
are just
also true.
goaded. If you watch Heretics play against the other teams, Miniboo and Benji Fishy look like the best players in the fucking game right now.
Yeah, they're
if
smoking
you don't
everyone.
watch them play against Fnatic.
They
Like,
literally, the
just-
last time they lost a map that wasn't to Fnatic was over a month and a half
Apex?
ago.
Giants,
It was
yeah.
no, it was the game against Apex and Giants. They lost a map to Apex, a map to Giants, then they 2-0'd Vitality, Na'Vi, Fnatic, BBL, and then 3-0'd Liquid, and then there were those 2 other losses to Fnatic in there as well. Like this team, I still believe in them. I can understand why people wouldn't, because they did have devastating losses to Fnatic, and it looks like they're playing some really off-meta shit. But I actually think the off-meta shit is a good direction to... Like, it's a good tool to have in your arsenal when things are getting crazy going into Toronto. The fact that you're playing so much double duelist and relying on this, like, looser style of stuff instead of playing super disciplined, super post-plant, super Tejo heavy, it's fucking... That is a good thing for Toronto, not a bad thing.
So you're
That's
saying
why
that
I'm
Paper
gassed
X
up on
should be
Heretics.
first.
I agree. Number 3.
No, he was talking about
Number
Paper
3.
X.
No, I was talking about Heretics. Shut
No,
your
everything you
little
just
mouth.
described. Not Tejo heavy, double duelist.
I want
playing a
Paper
little
X.
bit looser style, not focusing on post plans. Paper X, yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Seth-
why they're in 7th and not in 12th.
Seth, I need us to come together, lock
Right now
arms,
over me.
and we're never mind.
Some sussy. That was a Beatles reference.
That was a
like-
Beatles. Just Beatles, bro.
Yeah, but it did
That's
make
how
it sound
no
like you were
one
going to
took-
play Soggy Biscuit with Wyatt.
Yeah.
That is, no one took that as a Beatles reference.
Well, then,
I want to work together.
so be it.
I can get over that, and I want to work together to get Paper X up the fucking hierarchy. That's what I want to work on right now.
Everything
Are
Josh
you
just
with me?
described is Paper
That's
X.
what I'm saying. And
But-
that's why I
Yeah,
want them in
so
number
flip-
4.
Look, okay.
4?
Okay, here you
No.
go. Here you go. You know
That's-
the,
maybe
you know the,
5.
You know the saying,
Why?
Maybe
I-
5. Maybe
I'm
5.
willing to move them up maybe a little, but 4.
Okay,
There's a saying that
no.
if you're not,
I might be
there's a
smoking
saying that
crack
if
with
you're
number
not
4.
first,
Number
if you're
5.
not first, you're last. Heretics has been in the position to be able to get first so many times more than every other team pretty much here, so they're last. Put Heretics in 12th. Paper Rex in 3rd place.
Oh my God, what are you cooking? You've burnt it. You burnt it horribly.
No, I think it's perfectly done. It's Goldilocks. It's
I
just
think
just
Paper
right.
X. I think Paper X are really good, and I think only the best teams at this tournament will be able to beat them. And that's why I think they're going to be hovering somewhere around 6th to 7th, because I think there's like 5 or 6 insanely good teams here. I don't think it's disrespectful to Paper X to say only the best of the
No,
best
no.
can beat them, but they're still middle of the pack at this tournament because you've only invited the creme de la creme.
and that's fair. But I think they're the creme de la creme at this tournament, Wilkinson. I'm telling you. And by that, I mean I want them just slightly above the middle. Can we accept slightly above the middle? Yeah, like 5th or 6th. I can walk away happy with that.
Okay, hang on.
I could walk away feeling mostly content about that. Because I would personally put them above. Oh, wait, why are we? Hold on.
There is an argument to be made that
I need to take this data in.
There's an argument to be made domestically that they performed better than Gen.G. Now, Achilles, I don't know how you would feel about that, but Gen.G went through the upper bracket, right?
Yep.
And they smoked RRQ in that upper bracket game. Now, maybe you could argue that's a bit of a weird one considering how the rest of the games played out. And especially considering that PaperX nearly beat RRQ as well. Like, that was a 3-2 game where, PaperX... almost you could argue were the better team as well because they ended up winning a lot of the rounds, all of the maps that PaperX won. They spanked RRQ. All of the maps that RRQ won were super close. There's subjective arguments to be made that maybe PaperX were the second best performing APAC team. I don't know where you would fall on that. How much weight would you give to that?
I wouldn't necessarily disagree. Again, my Gen.G thing, I called it a punt. I'm not relying on Gen.G having to be in the top 4 for my bold prediction. It's a bold prediction for a reason. It's just like, okay, this is going to be the first team to get a repeat trophy win in APAC. That's kind of what I was going for with that. Do I really think that Gen.G is going to win this tournament? No. But again, I do think that they are capable of winning the tournament in the form that they're in. I would rate PaperX and RRQ higher than Gen.G in this power ranking. I think that is what should be reflected. So,
okay.
I'm
on board with that.
I'm happy.
Okay, great. That's awesome to hear. Going off that, Heretics in 12th.
RRQ 5.
Stop with the Heretics in 12th, man. Kurt's going to listen to you.
The problem is...
Gen.G 7.
Gen.G 7. Gen.G 7, RRQ...
5.
Let's do...
RRQ versus Sentinels.
Can we agree that the top is very tight, right?
Yes.
So let's just make it pretty for the graphic. Let's put RRQ in 3rd, so that we have one of each team, one of each major, one of each of the original regions in the top 3.
4th.
There we go.
Following your logic.
No, I said original. I said original region. I said original. We didn't have China until
Oh, so I see. You're going with the Boostio logic. China will never be as good.
I'm not saying that because I'm not stupid and blind, but put RQ in 3rd and then put PaperX in 4th and then 5th.
You could make the argument for that, but the problem is I just don't believe that RRQ are actually going to perform like the 3rd best team at the tournament. I know you said it's a fake narrative that it's like first event. I just don't. I think they're powered too much by Jemkin.
I think it might be fake with players and less fake with teams. I think you might be right about that, Josh. If we look back historically, the LAN jitters narrative. Like we always say that with a cracked out player going to their first international, and then they're still cracked out. I swear.
Most of the time,
but again, like the time. A lot of these players have already played on the international stage. I mean, like Jemkin's been like he played at Ascension in high stakes. Yeah, he went 0-13 on Reyna, and then he came back and he dropped like fucking 34 or whatever on Raze in the next map. Like the man doesn't really. The man's not gonna have like a consistent choke. You've got Xfero who bodied Optic on that breeze back in 2022. Like he has plenty of international experience because he was fucking Tebbletal all the time. Like Cushy would maybe be kind of the concern, but the guy has just been rock fucking steady.
Yeah, he's been very good.
They are one of the losers of the patch change, though. They play a hell of a lot of Tejo.
I mean, but that's only because Crazy Guys picked it up. But Crazy Guy could just go back to playing whatever. Like,
hey, if you want to bring that up, though, aren't Sentinels too? Because I feel like Sen have benefited quite a bunch from figuring out their role kind of quibbles that they were having early on in the year and just kind of turning John into the Tejo player on a lot of the maps. I mean, John has been pretty good at the KO recently as well. But
they banned Fracture, though. And they are pretty good at Sunset before.
Yeah.
That's a positive.
That might... We'll allow that to offset. Is that reasonable?
Yeah. I'm just
null.
I'm
and void
wondering
on
what
the
they're
team.
gonna. I'm wondering what they're gonna get value out of from John without Breach Teo being meta. Because if he's gonna be playing Initiator a ton, I wasn't really happy with his Scan Initiator when he was playing a bit of like Fade and stuff earlier on in the season. But maybe
Would rather
he's gonna
have
get it up to
narrate on
scratch.
those
I
personally.
just sorry, I just had a content idea. If RQ, I don't, and obviously I don't want this, but if RQ end up bombing out of this tournament, I want to get one of the Indocasters to come over to Korea and do the same setup basically as the Bren Alice T1 apology video with Chobra, and just have him in a white room getting slapped around and forced to apologize in broken Indonesian. Because that sounds very funny to me.
No, didn't he get off the RQ train for like 1 week and then they became, and they like,
Yeah.
He
something
signed
like
with
that
he
happened?
signed with
Yeah.
Nongshim, and then RQ became the best team.
Yep.
So
So where are we at with the Paragons? Let's
okay, yeah,
lock us back
lock
in.
in.
All right. Okay.
RQ.
Okay.
lock in Paper X ahead of RQ. Biggest
can we
winner
just
of the meta
vote?
change. Biggest winner of the patch change.
Who are you going for in third place, Wyatt? Sorry. Who are you
Heretics.
advocating for there?
I'll go
Heretics.
I will go with Heretics, even though they will not win the tournament. I
Okay.
will put Heretics in
Fine.
third.
TMV, who are you going with?
Heretics.
You're going with Heretics as well. Wow, my Heretics gas has been received. So then, yeah, that's Heretics by popular demand locked into third place. Who are we going for fourth then? Between the
RQ.
teams that we've discussed. See,
RQ.
I think I would vote
Rex.
for Sen very slightly over RRQ. And I think that might be my anti-APAC bias, but it's also just because
Would you vote for
Wait, what
Sen
did Wyatt
over
vote
Paper
for?
X?
Number 4,
Yeah.
Paper Rex.
Oh my god.
As a bargaining chip here,
Number
Sideshow,
4.
would you vote for Sentinels over Paper X?
yes, I would.
This guy's fucking biased.
Well,
I think
Seth. RRQ or Paper Rex?
Right now it might actually be Paper X, but also whenever I do
That's
predict
what
RQ, they
I'm
lose. So
saying.
I'm inclined to not go super heavy on RQ.
God, there's so much superstition wrapped up in
Yeah.
all of this as well. So wait, who are
You
you
two
going
would
for
both
then?
go
You
Paper
would
Rex
both go
over
Paper X in
RRQ.
fourth
Fuck
place.
it, Paper X in fourth.
I'm
Paper X in
going.
fourth.
I'm going Paper X in fourth. Yeah.
They've been looking
TMV.
good, and they don't even have
Are you with them?
Batman playing with them in their.
Am I with them?
most
Am I
recent events.
fuck?
Okay, well then we've got to hold them off. Who would you have in fourth?
I'd be very close between Sen and RRQ. I wouldn't give a shit. Who, like, 3 of you vote between those teams, and whoever,
Okay,
gets
you
two,
have to
whoever
give a
gets
shit.
2,
That's the
fucking
problem,
do
is
it.
you
I
have
don't
to
give
give
a
a
shit.
shit.
But now you're picking Paper X.
Kurt, can you flip
How
it?
is the third best team the first best team in your region?
Can you flip a coin between Sentinels?
baby.
Do you
And
flip a
Paper X.
3-sided coin?
No, just between Sentinels and Paper X, and we'll put that team in third place because TMV says he doesn't care whether it's Sen or RRQ. So we'll assume.
That doesn't count as a vote for Sen.
Surely it does.
He's abstaining.
Are you abstaining? Oh!
YouTuber reaction face.
Damn, dude, at TMV, I didn't realize how American you were.
His
Anyway,
honest
let's keep
reaction
going.
to Paper X finishing in 4th.
That's crazy
event.
because TMV's silence is complicity with the Paper X department, honestly, in this case. His silence has allowed the train to run into 4th place. That's crazy. Okay, well then Paper X, was this the flip?
Well, don't matter now, does it?
No, I was gonna do it, but are we not doing it?
Bro, I don't think TMV
But
is
is this
giving us
are
the
these
power.
these are the
Bro's
teams that we're
pissing.
flipping?
Oh, if my absence costs, that would be that's unlucky, isn't it?
Right, so you've just allowed Paper X to go into 4th via your silence.
I mean, I don't feel
Crazy.
great about it, but at the same time, do I? If all the train people want to fucking hype themselves up and gas the train, then fucking good luck to them.
Right, well,
don't even
Paper X in
necessarily-
4th.
Good
then.
luck to them. Good luck to them.
I-
And when it crashes and burns,
didn't like either candidate, so I just decided to vote.
I personally, I was not even
spoiling your ballot is perfectly a
ride or
fine
die.
choice, by
I
the way,
wasn't.
Seth.
I wasn't on the train. I wasn't running the train, on the train, any kind of train.
right now you sound like the person who got on
I-
at the last second.
Yes. For this event, yes. No, absolutely. I sprinted to catch up as it was leaving the fucking station and hopped on the
already
back.
moving. Wyatt.
It was already picking up. It was 10 miles an hour. I fucking caught up, hopped on that shit at the last second.
Okay.
Because I believe in them in this meta change. Them in this patch.
It's a
the
reasonable
form that they were in
take.
individually.
Yes.
In this patch, Sunset coming in. They're the biggest winners of the changes. They're gonna carry that nice little fucking momentum right into the tournament. Forsaken, he's running around. He's not missing. He's killing everybody, and he's gonna keep doing that. And they're gonna ride that momentum all the way to 4th place, maybe even 3rd place.
Okay.
RQ,
then
RQ 5th.
No.
I mean, I can't be that mad about it because to me it is a bit of a coin flip between RRQ and Sentinels.
Flip the
So
coin. Can we look?
Yeah,
Flip
just
the
fucking
coin.
flip a coin
All
for
right,
it.
flip it just for fun.
All right.
Put
Okay.
us out of our fucking misery. Flip
Yeah.
the coin.
I do feel like these two teams are in extremely similar positions. Here we go then. For the audio listeners, the coin is being flipped currently between RRQ and Sentinels. It jiggles,
Let's
it wavers,
fucking go.
and it lands Rex Regum Queon.
Keon.
Is it Queon? Keon?
Keon.
Keon.
King of Kings, baby. Let's go.
All right. So then Sentinels ascending 6th. I feel like at some point we were thinking about them in 4th. All right.
I
And
feel
then
like-
Gen.G.
I feel like Gen.G 7th. There's something about that that's just doesn't feel right to me. But
You're
I think
right.
it feels
Flip,
so
flip
right.
Gen.G and Heretics.
I think
to
it feels
put them
so
ahead.
fucking right.
Who would? But yeah, there's no one to put them ahead of. But I genuinely think they could win the fucking tournament. But they're in 7th.
Flip
I
Gen.G
would
and
agree that
Heretics, what can I say?
the teams in the top 7 that we've listed them here all have a chance of winning.
Yes.
Teams 8 through
with
12,
you.
I do not think actually have a chance of winning.
I'd agree.
Like a reasonable chance of winning.
I'm with you.
Could something crazy happen? Yeah,
So
but I don't
we
think
should,
it's
instead of
likely.
having 1 through 7, 8 through 12, we should have could win, definitely not fucking winning as in the graphic.
Mm.
Can we get XLG and MIBR swapped though for the culture? Surely, right?
Just for fun.
I mean, MIBR, they ain't doing anything. XLG are out here. They're swinging. They're a good Chinese team.
I don't even know who's on MIBR aside from Aspas, so yeah, sure. Swap.
There we go. I mean, XLG have 4 players. MIBR has 1.
Well, if that's not the most convincing argument you've ever heard, I don't know what else could get you to put XLG in 8th, buddy. Send their asses up there and get Rarga versus Aspas. Rarga all over his ass.
Okay. Any further disagreements, or are we happy with
No.
this?
I mean,
we lock it.
I don't think I'm happy with that. Well, hold on. I'm happy.
All right.
Okay.
That's how I assess my emotions as well.
Now,
My wife's like, "Oh, how was your day?" And I go, "It's good."
would have been a perfect
Audio
moment to
listeners,
lose
someone's
you.
just driving in their car like, what the fuck is going on?
Okay, let's bring up the VLR pick'ems if you wouldn't mind, Kurt, because I think we can literally just translate those power rankings in, can't we? Because we had MIBR, Liquid, Billy, and Wolves missing out, and I believe that would just give us the answers for our Swiss stage. Because if those
You can
4 are
only cred
losing,
4 games. Yeah, I mean,
well,
you
you
can only
cred 4 teams to win, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. We would have Sentinels making it through. Oh. We would have Sentinels making it through, Gen.G making it through, Paper X, and Heretics.
Yep.
I think that's entirely possible.
Yep.
Reasonable.
Lock it in.
We're locking it in. Kurt, how does the members being able to do the pick'ems with us work?
They're
Do you
given
generate a link?
Yeah, they're given a code, and we send it out on socials, or
Okay.
the members' Discord and members' post on YouTube.
So, members, if you're interested, keep an eye out for that, and you'll be able to participate with us in the members pick'em. We will also be doing a Masters Toronto top 10 players next week, and we will be running a community form like we did last time as well. So
That
if you're
is in a pin message right now, if you want to fill it out, and it's also in the description.
there, you go.
Sorry.
There you go. No. That's great. I would have missed that. So yeah, if you're in the YouTube chat, it's in a pinned message. And that's just open to everybody, right? That's not just for the members.
Yeah, everybody gets to work on it if they want to.
Okay. And last time we had like 10 people submitted. Who was it? Who was the player that they just submitted for everything? Was it like Heybay or something? They just submitted as like all 1 through 15 for everyone.
That when someone botted it and
Yeah, it was like the trace player, wasn't it?
I can't remember exactly who it was. Was it Carpe, actually? I think it was Carpe. And then
it was Carpe. It was Carpe.
And he ended up playing a little bit and he lost some and the T1 won. I mean, that is so
He's
funny.
a Masters winner.
Yep. You brigaded a Masters winner. As if they needed it.
Real quick, did you guys want to do the bottom games here?
Yeah, do it. Well, yeah, because these are actual games.
Yes, let's have a talk
Yeah.
about these. Let's pick them and have a bit of a discussion about the matches that are happening too. So, round 1, we've got Gen.G playing against MIBR.
Gen.G.
I mean, I think this is close. I think
that's
this
a great
be close game.
Yeah.
I think it's close, but we have Gen.G going through, and I think that Texture he owns Aspas.
Does he?
Yeah.
Based on what?
Yes.
Like, has he done it at previous tournaments a lot?
He's just
You'll have
a
to-
better player.
They played against each other at Masters
check.
Shanghai,
source check.
and Aspas dominated Texture, but they did lose.
They lost the
So-
game. It doesn't matter.
They did lose the game. They did lose the game.
Boom.
I think that's the only time they played against each other. I could be wrong.
I think that probably is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only time they've played against each other. Aspas won like on an individual level, but lost overall. He went plus 14, 54 and
The
40,
overall's
16 and
all
8 in
that
first kill to
matters.
first death.
What's the head to head between the two? Can you go into that in the stats? Go to performance, yeah. Or
No, it was in Shanghai. You can't tell because all of the
Oh,
data was on the
fucking
Chinese
hell.
websites and stuff.
Oh, the
So-
firewall.
Yep,
Owned.
boomed again. It should be a great game,
It's
though.
close. I also be going.
Yeah,
My brother.
me too. I think, but I am a bit worried at the amount of like the Viper comp on Haven's got to change. Please, you got to shift it around. I beg you. I feel like
I'll play
MIBR
Silver
will
instead
be-
of Teo now. Don't worry about
and that's the only shift.
it. I would pick MIBR for this game, by the way, as a dissenter.
Well,
would
you're
you?
the only one.
What's the
I'm
reason?
not mad at
L
What's the
plus
reason?
Loss plus shut up.
Because this is how it always goes. These games where it's like close, but everyone, when it's a 55-45 game and everyone picks the 55,
Yep.
you always pick the 45 if it's a 3v1. You look like a genius when you're right.
Right. Okay. So it's just for your own narcissistic point of view.
Isn't that, wait, that's not why we're all here.
Oh, well, of course, of course. Let's go on to the next game then. What was the next game?
It's Billy.
Billy Team Liquid.
And Team Liquid.
I'd probably give it the liquid.
It would have been so much better if Billy had opened against an America's team, honestly. Like,
Yes.
but the thing is, it wouldn't have been that good against MIBR because it's not like, I don't know, you need them playing against a North American
Dude,
team and
could you
delivering a big
imagine
upset.
K-Knight screaming "Aspas, are you okay?" though across the stage? It sounds so good.
That would be sick. I think Liquid are the kind of team where the way that they play on defense, where they do a lot of contact reclearing stuff, requires quite a disciplined, like forward-thinking team to deal with. And I think that Billy are not that. Billy are going to be running at them, trying to turn the game into chaos, and Liquid might also be, I don't know, reveling in the chaos a little bit. I think this game is going to be sloppy as fuck.
I think there's no way that either side has a clean game. Like almost certainly. Like,
I think
it's just gonna
Kiko
be
and Nats need to have
chaos.
amazing performances to carry them through the mess that's going to happen. I could
If
definitely
YZ
see some of the other...
If YZ plays the way that he was playing at the ACL, like Liquid's gonna have a hard time. I will give him that because like YZ was insanely good.
One advantage Team Liquid have is that BLG, like statistically, like their most played and like best map is Pearl, and Liquid definitely will ban Pearl, so it's like one thing in their favor. But BLG also ban Split, so this could get sloppy if both teams get their best maps.
They
man.
do, but
Like, we
they
could
were
be-
playing it, so like they will float that
Yeah,
map, so they will go for split.
Oh, we'll
so.
get some dumbass maps. We'll get Haven, which Billy love
Oh,
playing
God.
and losing. We'll get
Yeah, they
Liquid
love
running
losing Haven.
Deadlock on there with.
Yeah, if we got a Haven game between these, it could be very.
Oh, it's gonna.
interesting.
That'll be the decider. Haven will be a floated decider, and that.
I think they're gonna giga ban unless they change something crazy. I think they're gonna just be banning Haven probably first round perma because they got 13-1 by DRX the ACL. I think that they will get rid of it.
I think this is prime for an upset. It's one of those games where I feel like Liquid have got it, but I think it's prime for an upset. Something weird happening.
So
good point.
you
I'm
think
going
it's just
Billy.
gonna be a somewhat standard liquid choke.
I mean, I don't know. I just think I don't think it's necessarily even going to be a choke. I think Billy are just a chaotic team, and they definitely can upset people.
You convinced me, Josh.
Well, I'm going Liquid. I've got to be honest with you.
Oh,
Like I'm still going with the favorite. I just think there's a serious
alright.
chance of. I think a lot of people are going to discount Billy
I'll
and
go
just be
with
like, "Oh,
Billy
they're
Billy.
shit." But
even though we're going to be picking Liquid on this,
are we?
Billy
rest of you?
fans,
I said liquid.
We could flip a
I
coin.
stand with you.
Go on then. Let's flip a
Oh,
coin.
coin?
Let's flip a coin. I'll
I'll
pick him
take
with
a
you. Yeah,
coin.
go on, Wyatt. Let's flip a coin.
All right,
Let's
I
just see what
fuck with
coin
that. I
says.
hope the coin
Neither
does
team makes it to
the
playoffs. It
funnier
doesn't matter.
thing.
Flip a coin.
Waiting.
Team Liquid.
It takes a
versus
second to
Billy
do
Billy.
this.
No, I prefer the silence
Hold
again.
up.
Just like
Yeah,
the
let's-
people in their
let's
cars
just-
feeling like,
don't-
what the
don't
fuck is going
fill.
on with my phone?
If we made like a weird noise beforehand as
Not
well, and then just
Phil.
went silent,
All
we
right.
just went like. "Eeet." People are like, "Oh, what the hell?"
All right.
happened?
It's flipping. It's flipping. It's flipping. It's flipping.
It's Liquid.
Boring.
If even
This
the
tells
coin
me that
agrees.
it's-
No, yeah, the coin. I mean, really, I would.
Billy's gonna win.
Okay, let's go on to the next game though. Dude, this game is so funny if Wolves win.
Easy.
I want Wolves to win so bad. But I just think it's
You're
the most
just
one-sided
not.
game of the four.
You're right, Josh. You're so right.
All right, Heretics Paper X.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think this
and-
one's just a click the button for Sentinels.
Heretics Paper X.
PRX.
Bruh.
This is
Wolves.
this. Oh, we going back to Wolves? We're
not
taking
going
it
You're
back.
outvoted TMV, as it turns out.
DMV, give me a percentage.
Of Wolves?
Yeah.
Realistic percentage.
Yep.
Percent. 35.
35%. That's high, man. That's
The Wolves
high.
win over
35.
Oh, that's percent.
Shut the fuck up. Dude, this guy.
I think I would give it 30, 25. Something like that.
30 seems even pretty
Fuck
generous
off.
to
Not
Wolves,
even
to be honest,
Baller's
but-
Law.
I mean, I think
I'm
it
not
might be a
Baller.
bit. 25 though.
20.
One in four.
He's not here. I don't have to abide by his laws.
I'd give it like
fucking
22,
Okay.
maybe 21 on a
It's
bad
not
day.
that bad. Like, guys, come on.
Dude, you're in Cope City. You're living in a different world. All right, Heretics Paper X, amazing game. Like actually a phenomenal game. The two teams that we both think we think these two teams are going to go really deep, and
Correct.
also they have legendary chokes in finals. Not in big games necessarily, but in finals.
It's PRX. They're gonna win the first map, and even though he doesn't play for the org anymore, he's at the tournament. Monyet's gonna come out, and he's gonna scream in Benji's face, and he's gonna piss himself, and then choke the rest of the series.
I think Heretics have
I hope
learned
that happens.
since Masters Madrid. They're no longer the newbies that they were at the time. They've got much better emotional control, and they will simply handle Paper X, as they have handled every team in EMEA that have played in any
That
way a
aren't
chaotic
Fnatic.
style. Exactly. Every team that isn't
Don't play in
Fnatic.
orange. Yeah.
Yeah. Every team that doesn't play a mega disciplined G2 Fnatic kind of style is getting whacked by Heretics. It's
I don't think
2-0.
they'll get whacked, but I would
2-0.
pick Heretics to win.
That's
I would
the
pick
danger.
Heretics
It's
to
a
win.
2-0
Fucking
Heretics.
oh! I'm sorry. What's the what is the logic here?
It's a 2-0, and I'm putting 133k on it.
He knows the
Shuffle
result.
crypto?
He
What
knows
is
the result.
I've spoken to Minnie, and he's insured me.
Which betting site? Because if like I have one that'll give you like even better odds and maybe a little bit of backing on that. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they'll get involved.
Yeah, slide into my Telegram.
Yeah.
The 2-0, that's a little fucking disrespectful, Wilkinson. I'm gonna be real. They're not even getting a map.
They're not getting a map.
They're not even getting a map?
They're not getting a map. The train's overhyped.
Why?
The train's overhyped, and Heretics are the perfect team to deal with them.
Why are they the perfect team to
The
deal
Heretics are tied
Because
to the
I don't-
train track.
Both teams love taking aim duels currently, and the Heretics players are fucking on fire with that stuff. Unless you're throwing shit tons of
So are
incredible
Paper Rex.
util and playing
They
masterful
are.
attack side defaults and shit, that you're just getting aim diffed at the moment by Heretics.
Yeah, I'm going with Paper X 2-1. Great points, Paper X
PRX.
2-1.
I'm with Wyatt.
I pick Heretics 2-1.
Coin
Flip it.
time.
Let's leave it at that.
Flipping.
It's
my
Heretics.
God,
There's
the
no
most
coin knows.
boring results
The
imaginable.
coin knows.
It's a
Most
false idol. It's a false
boring
idol.
ass
Fear not,
results.
ye faithful.
I sleep. 2-0 is sickening, Wilkinson.
That would mean
What? Okay.
that would mean that
Kurt,
Paper X
pull the first one.
that would mean that Paper X need to win their next 2 games
And they will.
in order to go 2-0. They would be going up against like a Wolves, a Billy, or an MIBR. I think they'd be all right.
All
there,
winnable.
right?
Oh, yeah. Come on.
But then
Come
they
on,
could end
they're
up going up against
fine.
like a. They could end up going up against like a Gen.G after that.
Who they would beat, and then they'll be in the playoffs.
Losable. Gen.G will win the tournament.
Why are you
Okay.
so unconvinced? Are we watching
I'm
the
not-
same? Are you
I'm not
watching?
unconvinced.
Are we watching the same team? We see
Bro.
the same things.
I said Paper X will only be beaten by incredible teams at this event.
Okay.
I just think that Heretics are an incredible team.
okay.
And I'm not saying Gen.G, by the way, are definitely going to beat.
gifted
Okay, I
at
might have been
choking
overreacting. I might have been overreacting, but you were giving it the difficulties of overcoming Gen.G energy. I was picking that up,
But I
and
think
wasn't
that
a
kind of a
fan.
game,
I wasn't liking it.
a Paper X Gen.G game is losable for Paper X, even though they are the favorites in that, in my opinion.
Are you
Because
saying
I think they're
incredible
only slim
teams is in?
favorites.
Are you saying
I
incredible
can
teams is
accept
in
that.
not credible?
Not credible. Like, yes, yes. The results are not credible.
So it's all match fixing, is what you're saying. If Paper X lose, it's all a fucking ruse.
Yeah.
Do
If,
not let them go up against Blue Otter. Do not let that match happen.
all right. So yeah, next week we've got our top 10 players. That'll be less controversial than this.
Yeah.
That'll be easier as well,
Yeah.
probably.
Number one's Kayak.
Yeah,
now.
because we just put the list, Kurt works it out, and just smile and nod.
Right. Just smile and nod the whole time. Never justify any of your picks.
No. And then you just look at the communities ranking and go, what the fuck are they doing?
The community's
Easy.
rankings are just going to be VLR rating 2.0 written into a list.
With a slight send bias.
Do you think they're that basic?
I think that's basically going to be it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. With a sen-
I think
is it a
so.
sen bias? Is that what's going on? It seems like there's always a heavy Pacific bias.
Anti-sen.
No,
Pacific
am I
bias?
tripping? Yeah.
Really?
Maybe I'm just interpreting that because the players from Pacific get botted in the spreadsheets. Maybe that's.
I mean,
why
they did
I'm
a bit.
thinking- Yeah, maybe
I
that's
do.
why I'm
I do
thinking.
remove the botted players, but we'll see.
Yeah, when Carpe is number one in this tournament, it will know.
But I mean, the Pacific teams have won most recently. Wait, Achilleos is muted and giving an impassioned speech.
Damn it! I pressed the wrong button. Are you muted?
You should have
still?
made that noise. You should have gone boop.
How did my mic? Okay, well.
That was a
That was
great
weird.
speech, Seth. That was a great fucking speech.
Okay,
I,
here's
no,
what I
I
was saying.
agree.
I'll get to
Fnatic
the
are
bottom of
winning
it.
the event. I'm with you.
That, but also I was saying, please God, put Jemkin in your top 5. Anybody who's submitting, because he's so fucking good.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was getting to. And then God tried to silence me.
Yeah.
He doesn't know the truth.
That was Kurt.
The top 5 are obvious. No, we all have the same top 5.
The top 5 are obvious.
The top 5 are not.
We all have the
Let's
same
say
top
it all
5,
at the
right?
same time on the count of 3.
Yeah.
I think at Madrid, like the top 6 or 7 was fairly obvious. I don't think it is for this one at all.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, I think this is. I think this is one of the toughest. I think this is a very, very difficult one for doing the top 5.
It's gonna be a tough one, but Jemkin's top 5 for sure.
Because
top 9 are easy.
There's no way, bro.
Top
That's
9
insane.
That's just not fucking true.
That's just insane.
That's just not true.
No. I'm fucking around. But the top 7.
I'm dreading the fucking Google form that Kurt's gonna send me, because I'm like, this is more brain power than I will use in the whole rest of this like mini off season.
No, it's
I wrote down
too
on my
much.
stream the
Burn
people
calories.
that had to be included. The people that like absolutely have to be included. There's no argument for them not to be.
Yeah, that's just the list.
No. And I got to 20 players in the top 15. I was like, these players all have to be included. And I got to 20 and I was not finished. And I was like, oh, this is bad. This is really bad. There's way too many good players going.
Maybe that's what you should have done when you had to do that, like, name 100 women thing. It should have been name 50 women that you must name, and then you would have overcompensated. And made
yeah, that's, I mean, I don't think we should be.
Yeah, he would have got
going
to
back
3
to
and
this.
been like, huh.
That's
What
the
now?
Do you think you could name more women now? Maybe you could make it all the way to 30 this time?
I mean, that's.
Do you think
Hold
you'd be
on.
able to?
Hold on.
Well,
The allegations
at least-
are coming through thick and fast. This is slander.
You at least kind of nailed that image association like rapper like quiz that was going on, like Redman and those types of things. You did pretty well.
I
with that.
don't know people's names and I don't know people's faces. I know it's bad.
It's very bad for your job.
Well, it's bad for everything. It's bad for my day-to-day life. But also you're just roasting me again for it for no reason. No reason.
There is a reason.
Because you find it amusing. That's why.
I find it amusing. I've had a couple drinks.
Let's move on to our final segment. I think let's wrap things up for episode 219. We've got the most important segment to end on here. It's Wyatt's Weekly Award.
It's Wyatt's Weekly Award.
And presenting.
We got 2 of them. Fuck off, Brent. This is Wyatt's Award.
Slid it right in there.
Wyatt,
Crazy. That's crazy from the hook. What's up?
You've got a recipient of the weekly award this week?
Oh yeah, sure. I suppose I'll have one of those. Yeah. This week I am going to go ahead and give it to one of the Game Changers players, because Game Changers NA is happening right now. Starbound. They are going fucking stupid. That is the stat lines that they're putting up are obscene. And the finals are going to be this weekend, and they're playing against Shopify in the next game, which should be pretty sick. But yeah, their overall stats for this tournament are like 200 average damage per round, like 1.3 kills per round. Yeah, the 38 kill game in regular time was a little ridiculous. So it's been pretty sick. That's like the full
it's like
tournament
looking at my
stats,
tracker.
But yeah. You know, I was actually, when you were talking about the tracker thing, I checked earlier to see what our win rate is together for this act. It's honestly not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Wow. It's 47%. I thought it would be worse, frankly.
I mean, that is bad though. I mean, if we were looking at a pro player and they had a well, I mean, I guess a lot of the pro players do because they're playing against good people.
It's not horrendous. We've only lost a little bit of elo in the 17 games that we've played together.
Maybe we can get boosted by Starbound.
New controversy. Seangares coming in hot.
If you
yeah. You know what I mean?
If you look at my European account, sorry, you just got me off on a tangent here. If you look at my tracker, I'm in the bottom 20% for damage per round, bottom 20% for KD, bottom 9% for win percentage. I mean, it is.
Bottom 9 win percentage.
I've been
Fucking
losing
hell.
a lot.
Bottom
Like, considering the
nine.
bottom 5 are probably people who are intentionally throwing games. They're tier 2 NA players.
I'm
the
losing
bottom
a
5.
lot.
Holy.
Jesus Lord. Yeah, that's tough, buddy. I have a higher win rate with Jaws than you, Josh. Which is he barely even plays the game.
Yeah,
That's tough.
it's
That is
astonishing how bad I am.
tough. I mean, at least you have the ping excuse, no?
Oh,
Get that working
those
for you.
those stats were from my European account.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have it.
Well,
That is
with that, I think it's time to hit the
brutal.
grind again. Let me go. Let me go play some more. Yeah, let me
Get
go
that up
tilt
to
to play
Back
some more
into the
rounds.
Valorant mines.
Yeah. So yeah, next week, everybody, we got the top 10 list. You could submit. There's a pinned comment in the chat right now. If you're watching this as a VOD, then it's on a community post as well. Send in those submissions for your top 10 players. I think you actually get to submit like 15 or something, and then we just chop off the bottom 5 of the list. And then the week after that, I mean, we're basically going to be into Toronto. So shit's going to be going crazy. So, yeah, we'll see you next week for episode 220. Thank you for joining us, Achilles, TMV, and Wyatt. Appreciate it. And don't bet on crypto websites and don't bet on Valorant Tier 2 games.
And don't fix
Honestly,
games, everyone.
Yeah, don't fix games, guys.
Don't be a cunt.
Yeah, that's...